Welcome everyone to Frame 41 of Gutterball. Can you believe we're already at Frame 41? It's been a crazy ride so far. It is March 30th. We're filming this on a Thursday. It's nice out. Weather's looking good. We got our wonderful guest and brother Joe joining us this evening, as well as our co-host Paul down there. Gentlemen, how you feeling, Paul? How's your week been? What's new?
Not too bad. Actually, ending the work week a little early. I took tomorrow off just simply to have a day off, but I'll be spending the morning waiting for my car to get fixed to see what's wrong with it. So that's great. But not too bad otherwise. Work's been busy. How about you, Jack?
More of the same old, same old. Nothing new to report really. Just getting grinding out content for y'all to enjoy. But yeah, been doing all right. I did get a new gym membership, so I've been cranking that out. So it's been good. Yeah.
Good. How's it?
You got another boxing gym, Jack, or where are you
No,
at?
I lift in gym.
Oh,
Los
nice.
Chapones or something like that. It's up near Target. I only got it because my coworkers got a membership. So I'm like, dang, I'll go lift with them, but I'm not getting another month just for the price of it, what it's worth. It's not. I'll get into that later, but yeah, it's not worth the price for sure. How you been doing? How you doing, Joe?
I'm well. Everything's great. I got a late-ish week of work, so I had to clear a few things in my schedule to get in with you guys.
Yeah.
Because I was finally invited. Finally
Oh, yeah.
invited to be on here. I've been asking since episode 1.5, but here we are.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
For those that don't know,
Yeah.
we do send an owl to your house with a envelope, so that's how we invite you to the podcast.
Jack, you need to call him back. Cool. The fucking
Yeah,
flies to the
goes
window.
back. Yeah.
But yeah, Joe, thanks so much for coming on. So yeah, for everybody listening, this is our oldest brother, Joe. He has had quite a bit of life experiences. He's had quite a bit of hobbies, jobs throughout the years, and we want to just kind of dig into like what he's done, what he's learned in his careers, and all types of stuff like that. Joe, did you just want to jump into kind of an introduction of like you can just like just say who you are or whatever,
Yeah.
anything in general?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So with all the life experience, you make it sound like I'm really, really old.
you're not that old.
And I'm
Whoops.
not that old. Yeah. So, yeah, I'm the oldest of 8 kids, which in itself has been an adventure, as both of you know. Growing up, what I do as far as work is I've been on the radio for just about 20 years now, primarily on classic rock radio or some kind of a rock station. I also do some country music as well. Yeehaw, giddy up, all that.
Yeah.
And so I do that in the Duluth area. I'm a radio personality. I've been in environmental consulting and emergency response for just about 16 years now. So tanker cars on a train go over, I might get a phone call to go clean that stuff up. Someone's fuel oil tank lets go in the middle of the night, I might go to their house and help with the cleanup on that, or at least get the ball rolling. And more recently, I guess in the last 3.5 years, I started getting into safety instruction. And so I actually teach mining safety, which I know everyone's like, it's so exciting, but it's but I teach mining safety. To go into a mine, you have to have a certificate to go in called an MSHA certificate. And so I instruct courses for that for a local college. I instruct it independently on my own through my own company. Also instruct first aid, CPR, AED courses with the American Heart Association, and instruct hazardous waste operations and emergency response too. So those are kind of my big things that I'm kind of into right now. And yeah, like you said, I've had a lot of jobs trying to figure out what I want to do and what I want to be when I grow up, and I'm still figuring it out. So
hey man, there's nothing wrong with that. I had a ton of jobs in high school too, and just like outside of high school, and didn't go to college right away out of high school. So I totally get where you're coming from. It takes a while to find out what you want to do, and stuff for me especially, dude, stuff gets boring after a while. Like I'm always looking for something new, which I guess like isn't really a good trait. I guess it can be a good trait, but you talked about teaching mining safety, and I know when we talked about that before, you said you had a few Melvins teaching the class that weren't very entertaining. And how do you make it, like, what do you do to make it a bit more entertaining for the people in the class? Is there things you kind of go to or things you focus on in particular? Or are there things you maybe not really skip because obviously everything's required, but how do you make it interesting for the people learning?
I've refreshed in safety courses for for again 15 some years. I've taken all kinds of certificates and courses, and you'll get some instructors that are okay and some that are like this, reading off of the PowerPoint for the whole class. And what I do, so like when I do class introductions, that's where that really helps me. And I probably spend more time on class introductions in any of my courses I do than I should, because I want to know who's in the class. I want to know what their work experience is. I want to know what they're into for hobbies and all that. So basically what I do is I almost treat that like an interview, like if I'm interviewing someone on the radio, right? And get enough information about them that then I can kind of talk about things and mention stuff they're doing and get a rapport with them.
Yeah.
So that's been huge for me. And then I have fun. I tell jokes. Safety training doesn't have to be painful. We can have fun. We can still talk. Yeah, we got to cover the required topics, but let's joke a little bit. Let's have a good time.
Get to know the people. Yeah,
get to know the people. That's kind of my big one that I bring to it. And then, I'm not afraid to just be real and have a personality. I think my experience in radio, I'm a radio personality, right?
Yeah.
So I go into the class as an instructor, but a personality. I'm me. I go in and right. It's like, so I think with my work background, with the years of different experiences and projects and jobs and people I've worked with, I feel like I can bring an element of, not tooting my own horn, but I bring an element of experience to it, but also just the fun aspect of it too, and I'll share stories of stupid things I've done. Because we've all done stupid things at work, right? And then the stupid things other people have done, and I try to just have fun. Versus, again, it doesn't have to be like this.
Absolutely.
So
with you saying that, and I can totally see your radio personality, because I mean, just how you speak, Joe, and how when you especially when you meet new people, I feel like that helps people almost let their guard down, right? Because I think people take classes in school a little too seriously, and they kind of forget that they can have fun. Where you kind of come in with a positive energy and a positive attitude, and just like your voice in general, I feel like kind of lets people put their guard down a bit and have some fun and learn the class. And maybe I feel like when you remember that memory of something funny in class, or like something, you have more of a notion to remember that for the test or down the line, as far as, like when you're just sitting there with a guy like that's just got the most dry voice reading off a slide, obviously it's hard to freaking stay awake. I mean, we've all had classes like that, no matter the training or course or whatever. That's really cool. But speaking of dumb things at work, were you the one that when you're at Perkins, you guys would turn the Hobart mixer on high and like whip forks in there and stuff, and it would like shoot them out at like light speed, and you guys would take cover?
You're talking now. Okay, now one of my bosses at the college is going to be like, yeah, the safety trainer was throwing crap in the mixer at Perkins.
Okay, we've all made dumb mistakes at work, but you're in charge of safety now, so it's not good.
If anything, okay, what's our learning lesson from that? Wear your safety glasses if you're going to do that.
Yeah, exactly. Wear your safety glasses.
Yeah, well, and actually, I got to tell you, one of my best. So Perkins by the Miller Hill Mall in Duluth is no longer a thing.
Yeah,
and I spent a lot of time working there, and a lot of time they're not working, because when we were in high school, that's where everyone went.
Yeah,
and we just hang out. And I was probably between 15 and 16 years old, and I had this, and I tell this story when I'm doing classes talking about doing fire extinguisher training, because there was a grease fire, and it was a evening shift, late shift, a lot of younger people, and not a lot of experience. And one of my managers, really cool dude, and so this fire happens, this grease fire, and we're all just like panicking. What do we do? Right. And Jason walks back as a cucumber. Okay. Like nothing's going on. And he looks at it and he stares at it. And then he points at us and he goes, get the fire extinguisher off the wall So we frantically, oh, it's a fire, right? So we're grabbing this fire extinguisher. He puts a cigarette in his mouth, leans over, lights it on the fire, takes the extinguisher from us, and puts out the fire like nothing's going on. Like it's no big
In
deal.
the restaurant, he lights a cigarette.
Cigarette and then just cools a cucumber. And like, so I always actually use that as like a lesson in class. I'm like, there you go. Don't freak out.
That's when you make mistakes.
Yeah. And he did. He was just, he had worked for years in kitchens and managing and whatever else. So I'm sure he was like, yeah, I've seen a bunch of grease fires. It's not a big deal.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's pretty funny. I love that I can just picture him leaning over at the cigarette and lighting it and then coming back. That's hilarious.
Yeah, like nothing's going on. Yes, no big deal.
That's funny. You say like Perkins, like in high school, is like everyone went there. Like in my time period, like nobody went to Perkins. That's for old people. It's McDonald's on 21st. It's a hangout spot. Was that? Yeah.
Maybe I just wasn't cool, but I don't really remember there being a particular hangout spot, honestly, when I was in high school. But
well, I don't think I was cool. I just happened to work at Perkins, so that's where I went to hang out too.
Right. Yeah.
I don't know. I guess the mall was pretty popular. Like that was.
I think it still kind of is.
Yeah, I mean, like I swear, when
not lately.
Me being down in the cities here, when I go up to Duluth every once in a while, I'll go to the mall to just like walk around, check stuff out. I'll run into somebody I went to high school with there. Every time I'll run into somebody.
Same.
It's actually insane. It's crazy.
Yeah. I've yet to go scuba diving in that fountain for coins, but I will get there at some point.
You're in the whole suit. You walk in there.
Yeah, I'm gonna go in there, Scuba Steve style. I'm gonna go down in there.
It'd be funny if you glued a bunch of like, I don't know,
coins.
Yeah, no, like a bunch of magnets to you and see if all the metal, like you just jump in there and they all just.
Yeah, I don't know if even most coins. I mean, if they're old enough, they might magnetize. But yeah, I don't think the newer ones. No, it's definitely on my bucket list though.
But you're like, I can just imagine you like running sopping wet out of the fountain and there's just coins falling off of you.
Yeah. No, that'd be pretty funny.
So, John Wick 4, what'd you think, Joe? I went and saw it too.
Well, I liked it. All right.
I liked it too.
I have to see it again. I went with too big of a group that some of them were too obnoxious. That's all I'm going to say about the group I was with. And I almost need to go see it by myself and just get it done. I liked it. I didn't think it was better than the first, second, or third. I liked the first three better. There's a couple scenes in it that are absolute bangers. No spoilers, but the roundabout scene
when he's in the car, that's like my favorite scene.
Yeah, that roundabout scene was so intense. That was a pretty amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, I liked it. I feel like I don't know what it was, but something about the story flow. It just didn't. It didn't grab me. I didn't get sucked into it like I got sucked into the first three of them. I was just kind of like, story, bout of action, story, and I was just kind of like, all right, we're here, and not bored, but I just wasn't. I didn't feel like I got sucked into it.
That's fair.
How about you? What did you think?
Recency bias probably a little bit because I haven't seen like the first two in a long while. But I honestly, without rewatching the second one, I thought it was better than the second one. The second one was like my least favorite of the first three when the first three were out. And I don't know why that was. I have to go back and watch it. I'm sure it was fine. I mean, they're all good. I don't think they've made a bad John Wick. Like they're all rewatchable to me. Jackson knows what happens in the end and stuff. He hasn't seen it yet though, but I mean, spoiler alert, because I don't know if you want to talk about it. He's definitely not gone. Like he's not gone.
Well, I think they left it. We saw him slump over, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And then we saw, what we saw, but it's open-ended enough that they could bring him back.
Yeah, exactly.
Very easy. My thing is, I don't even remember from the end of the second one or beginning of the third. I don't remember which one. Anyway, it was the second one when he mucks up his car. He gets his car back and he mucks it all up, getting it out of there and everything. And Leguizamo, is gonna gonna fix it for him. Like, we never addressed that. We never went back to, he didn't get his car back. It's not done yet. We're not done.
Yeah.
Right. He's like, what does he say? He's like, I'll get it back to you Christmas of 2025 or something like that.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Something. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, but they never address it. They never go back. You never see Wick's car again. Like, they left that open. And Leguizamo, we got to bring John Leguizamo back. Dude, I want him to have more of a role in the next one.
Leguizamo, he's a very underrated actor, especially for serious roles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My favorite movie of his is The Pest.
Yeah. Great.
But
I just saw, or what was he the bad guy in? Violent Night.
I saw it.
Yeah, and
he's a good bad guy.
Yeah, he's a good bad guy. I wish that had been done a little. I feel like more could have been done with that. I liked it, but but I just had finally watched it because my wife won't watch super violent or super horror gory movies with me, and I'm like, well, you'll go to John Wick with me, but you won't go to Violent Night.
Yeah,
so
he's blasting people every 2 seconds. What are you talking about?
That's what he does.
I almost wonder if like the reason you couldn't connect with him, because I found this when rewatching them, is like the first one really pictured him more like sympathetic character. You felt more, and he had more like speaking roles versus the 2 and 3. Like, he didn't talk that much throughout the whole movie.
Dude, this fourth one, he barely talked.
And he barely talks in this one either. Yeah.
I think it's just harder to relate to him. It's probably why it's not as impactful. But
not grabbing me. Yeah.
That opening.
I'll give it another go though. I think it's worth another theater watch, at least for all. I think they said there's like 14 separate action scenes in it, and they're good. They're done well, like all the other ones.
Yeah. So. That opening monologue by Lawrence Fishburne's character when John's hitting the fucking thing is so sick. Like, that was the sickest intro, I think, to any of the movies so far.
Yeah, they did good with that. No, I dug it. Jacko, you got to go see it. You got to go catch it.
Yeah, no, I'll definitely check it out for sure.
And
it's on my bucket list.
What amazes me is the range of Bill Skarsgård, dude. He could, that accent, I was like blown away. I'm like, how is he doing that? Like, he's crazy, man.
Skarsgård nailed that job.
Yeah, he did.
So good. So he's such a good actor.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Especially,
he's almost like
crazy.
Yeah, what do I compare him to? He's almost like a trying to think of who to compare him to for the roles, or the versatility.
He kind of reminds.
It'll come to me.
He kind of remind. I mean, like, obviously a lot older now, but Bryan Cranston's range is crazy.
Yeah. Cranston's a good example. Yeah, he can really pull off a lot of different roles. So, Skarsgård did a phenomenal job. At first, when I saw he was in it, I'm like, really? And no, and I think he's a great actor anyway. But I just didn't picture him as the villain like that with the accent.
And another
what
one would be
does he have?
French.
Oh, French. Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
It's a lot of it
nationality? Just American or what? I'm probably not.
Is Skarsgård? I don't know. Where is Scar? Is he? I'm not sure.
I'm not sure what his background is in that, because he's a member of the High Table and somewhere something foreign. So.
Yeah. What I'm curious, or another person that comes to mind with range too, is Vincent D'Onofrio. He can
absolutely,
like,
he's got. Sure, I remember.
He's done some, dude. Like, I still remember. I think the earliest role I saw him in was like Men in Black, when he was the alien barber.
When he's Edgar, wearing the Edgar suit. Yeah. Well, no, and then when he played Kingpin, right?
Kingpin was so good.
Yeah.
It just brutal. It was awesome. It was great.
Mm-hmm. I liked it when he'd get angry and he just smashes, dude.
Yeah. I think he did really good with that.
Full on Hulk mode,
Yeah.
I always remember him in Full Metal Jacket. Dude, just getting dumped on the entire film.
He goes insane.
Yeah, Paul, you got a good look for him. Yeah, there you go.
Speaking of that, Paul, you could almost play Skarsgård as playing it.
I could.
Doing that.
You gotta be able to move your eye. Just move it sideways. Learn how to do that.
So Joe, you've traveled like quite a bit. You've been to a few places I want to go to, and one of them you travel to pretty frequently is Las Vegas.
Yeah.
You got any like good recommendations, favorite things to do there? Maybe funny Vegas stories you'd like to tell us on the show?
Vegas is, it's my favorite. I love going to Mexico. I love going to a beach and all that stuff, having cocktails and whatever. But I love Vegas. There's something about it there, and time has no meaning in Vegas. You're just kind of there and 24/7, whatever kind of chaos you want to get into, whatever kind of fun, it's available, right?
Yeah.
And so as far as Vegas, I just I always tell people, one, if you drink, look for the happy hours. That's a big one because Vegas can get expensive. I don't stay on the strip anymore. I stay downtown on Fremont Street because it's cheaper hotels, it's cheaper drinks. They say there's better payouts on the machines and all that. And I don't know if that's the case, but you can basically walk out of any of the hotels on Fremont Street, and the party's it's right there. And if you don't like the casino you're at, you walk to the next one and walk to the next one. You're all within, 7 blocks of, you name it, for entertainment options. Yeah. Entertainment, dining. There's comedy shows right that you can go to. Fremont will have live concerts for free. There's just so much to do. So I say do that. And one of my favorite things I ever did in Vegas, that I'm willing to talk about on this show anyway, is actually going to the racetrack. And I drove a Porsche GT3 on a road race course there, and it's just phenomenal. Just so much. Yeah, it costs some money, but I'll tell you what, when you're cruising along in that Porsche or Ferrari or whatever you want to rent from them and do, it's amazing. So
that sounds awesome. How fast did you get?
I just highly recommend it. If you go with a good group. If you go with a group that's cool with, hey, we don't want to go do this, fine. You go do your thing. Yeah. We'll meet back up with you later.
How fast did you get, Joe? How fast did you get in the Porsche?
I didn't even look. So that GT3, the thing about it is it's not the fastest car they rent.
Yeah.
But it's a race car driver's car.
Yeah.
It's got 4-wheel steering. It'll beat out a lot of the really fast cars in the corners that it won't beat out in the straight line. So I didn't even look. I didn't buy the video of my, all that. I had a driver with me, an Italian guy. His name was Tio. And Tio was a race car driver from overseas, like IndyCar kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. And Tio called me Joseph. He's Joseph. He kept calling me Joseph. And Tio, so the instructor goes with you. And Tio sat there and he would tap he had his hand on my thigh, which I'm like, all right, whatever, and he tapped me and he'd be tapping me and he'd go, Joseph, full throttle, upshift. And then he'd go, okay, downshift, brake hard. And then he'd turn more. And then he'd go full throttle, upshift, up, and so the first few laps they do that until you get the jive of it. And then he does less and less of that. But their goal is to make sure you go as fast as you can and have as fun as you can. And by that 5th, 6th lap, I was just carving. I mean, it was just fluid and gorgeous. But so for Vegas, I mean, I'm a kind of guy on vacation. I want to have a cocktail. I want to have a cigar. And Vegas is like prime for people watching. So I will get out, and I'll do some gambling at breakfast. I'll do some gambling before breakfast. I'll get up in the morning, have a cigar, go stand out on Fremont Street and just stand there, post up with a cocktail and people watch. I love it. So relaxing,
Did you go see Siegfried and Roy?
Yeah. I don't think they're not doing it anymore because the one
he got attacked by a tiger.
They have a hologram show now. You go to the hologram.
Oh my gosh. I'd like to catch a Carrot Top show there. He's got going.
That'd be fun.
That'd be pretty funny. Yeah.
That would be funny. Isn't he like jacked now?
Yeah,
Isn't he like ripped?
Dude. He's like jacked out. Yeah.
Yeah, no, and then just with Vegas, just there's ways to do it cheaper. You don't have to go and blow through $2,000-3,000 if you set a gambling budget. I tell people that are on a budget, say I'm only spending this much a day or whatever else, and then just find other stuff to do. And you can actually, like, there's a couple websites, of course, Facebook pages, all that. And, like, you can go on and be like, here's where all the happy hours are, and then we'll just walk around and hit those, because some happy hours are at 3, some are at 5, some are at 9, some are at midnight, and you just hit them up. And
that sounds really fun. What would you say you could, with hotel lodging, and say you don't gamble much, how much could you go to Vegas for, like, cheapest? Because I've been wanting to go for a long time, ever since I was 21. I'm about to be 25.
Airfare is high right now. Yeah, airfare is high right now, which is a joke because we bailed out the airlines because of COVID.
Yeah.
And it's like, what? Because me and Penny my wife were gonna fly down there a couple weeks ago, and it was spring break. They had other things going on and stuff like that. So I get it was a little expensive, but generally I can go stay at, like, either the Golden Nugget or Four Queens. And Four Queens is not the nicest, but it's inexpensive. Usually round trip airfare and hotel for 2, you're at about $1,000.
That's not bad at all, man.
You might be at 600, or you might be at 600 a person if you, depending on the package, the room you get and all that. And then it's just how much you want to spend.
Do you get all that individually, or do you package it through some website?
I've done both. I've gone right to Vegas.com, and I've gotten the same prices I've gotten through Expedia. I booked it on my own, which I didn't save any money.
Yeah.
And then I have fun when I go there. So, like, I order a limo, and a limo picks us up at the airport, and they have champagne. It doesn't matter if we're getting picked up at midnight, 6 a.m, or noon, the champagne in the limo. And it costs me a little bit more money, but it's a lot of fun. It's the way to do it. They drop you off at the hotel, they grab your bags, they load them in all that, and then they pick you up and take you back. So it's fun. It's a good time.
Is the food pretty good?
Yeah, it depends on where you go. It's you can find whatever you want. My favorite steakhouse is Oscar's, and it's right on Fremont Street, and it's an old school steakhouse, and you'll drop $250-300 on drinks and dinner, but it's the experience. You got a bread waiter, you got a water waiter, you got your main waiter. It's nice. It's fun. The bartenders are it's nice. So but and then there's a Frank Sinatra restaurant there too. I can't remember what hotel it's in, but it's super fancy, and you actually have to, be dressed pretty decently to go there. I had lamb chops. I had lamb chops there that I'm telling you right now, if I hadn't been in such a fancy restaurant, I would have sucked the meat right off of the bones, because it was that good. And they got the guy in the bathroom with handing you the towels and all that and everything else.
Yeah. Nice. Did they have a Frank Sinatra's hologram there?
They did not. No,
Oh,
they might now. I don't know. I haven't been there for a while.
Okay.
He's playing the piano or something.
Yeah, right.
Jackson, any questions you want to jump into before we jump out of Vegas?
Not really questions, but I'd like to touch back on the gym membership I got.
Yeah.
Maybe kind of like what gyms you guys are going to, because I guess Paul already kind of knows. But yeah, I got a new gym membership purely just for lifting. Because I wanted to have more power to my punches when I start to box. I start to box again once it gets a little warmer, eventually, whenever it does. But yeah, I got a membership to Los Chapones in Duluth. I think is how you pronounce it. It's about $70 a month, and for the price, it's not worth it. I'm just telling anyone out there, don't go get that gym. I mean, for fuck's sake, there's like 4 bathrooms in there, and 2 of them don't even have locks on them. They don't work. So I'm like, what is this half dog shit thing? And there's employees like I just like to be an asshole. I don't say anything, but I'm like, these employees go get a fucking screwdriver and fix the goddamn doors. Like, you're not doing anything. That was a little ridiculous. But other than that, it's an all right gym. It's more for serious lifters, but having a grand old time with it. Just trying to get back into shape. Eating better, getting on a routine. But yeah, no, anyone out there, be warned. And they also got like this, I guess our parents, my mom has that old like boutique thing that like wooden one. They just have one of those in the gym, and it just looks ratty. And I'm like, why is this here? Go throw it out. It's goofy, man.
Yeah.
I only got it because my buddies all had a membership. It's fun to go with them, but like
I have
I don't know. I don't know what the gyms.
I don't know. I pay over double for Rumble Boxing, but
Mhm.
like I get there's
You're down in cities.
yeah, but there's also a trainer and it's convenient because it's right across
Yeah.
from
Oh,
work.
yeah. That's true. Yeah.
And
Well, yeah. I could go get Jungle Gyms, $50 a month subscription, and it's 24/7. And professional boxers will teach us. So it's like, fuck, why ever get
do
that?
they
again,
have
you know?
weights there?
They have a little bit of weights. They don't have much machines. Like they got a bench press and like regular dumbbells and stuff. But it's more if you just want to go and box.
Yeah.
But it is 24/7. So
Do they have any kettlebells there at
yeah,
Jungle
they got
Boys?
those for sure.
Okay.
Yep, they got a good selection. They got medicine balls, all types of stuff. It sucks because there's workouts I want to do at that gym, but I'm like pretty sure I can't do that one here. There's one where you just whip the medicine ball towards the wall. You get like a good rotation. And I was like, I wonder if I start doing this, it'll kick me out. Just get a 20-pound medicine ball, start whipping it
Right
at
through
the
the
wall.
sheetrock.
Yeah, right through the sheetrock. Yeah.
You can get Joe, speaking of like kettlebells, you can do like 1,000 different exercises with those. They're
Oh,
super
yeah.
Oh
versatile.
yeah, for sure. Absolutely. I want to get to Joe Rogan, the gorilla ones.
Yeah, I
They're just
know.
gorilla
It's like a
shaped.
gorilla head,
Yes.
dude. Those things
Yeah.
are sick. Yeah, and
Yeah.
why the hell are they weighed? What's a pood? It's a POOD. They're weighed in poods. If you go look
What the heck?
online. And
I
like
haven't
one
seen
and
that.
like one pood's like 26
pood?
and a half pound or some shit. Yeah.
Where are they getting these numbers from?
I don't
Is that-
fucking know.
Is that a Russian thing or something?
Yeah, right.
I
It sounds
don't
Russian.
know.
The fuck's going on with On It? I think that's what it is. On It.
Yeah, on
What's
it.
going on with them?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Joe, I know you said you're doing CrossFit for a while. Do you plan on going back? Have you been working out lately? What have you been up to?
I haven't been working out lately. I need to because I was actually doing well for a few months with, eating better and then just being more active. And then it just kind of went downhill. And I get the winter blues super bad. And I
Me
know
too.
that a cure for it is going to the gym, going and working out. Right. But it just, I get into it and I just get, I don't want to. It's dark.
Yeah.
I don't want to
Yeah.
go out, And so no, I haven't been, but actually on Monday, I've got a pretty light April for my schedule with work.
Yeah.
And I live 3 blocks from the Y in Superior.
Oh,
There you go, yeah.
And I think I'm going to re-up our family membership there. And I'm just going to start at least 3 days a week going there and doing some stuff. I'd like to do CrossFit again, but I just I don't know. I got out of it. And I like to go into their boot camps because I'm not like our one of our siblings, one of our brothers, Ben, is like the hardcore guy. Like he goes
yeah.
to CrossFit all the time.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
he's like, they're doing the leaderboards, who's doing the most of this and all that. I'm like, I'm not that guy. I just
Yeah,
wanna go-
Right. I'm not the guy either.
I have
yeah,
horrible form.
I want to go feel better, and it's not a competition for me. The only other thing I'll say about CrossFit, it really drives me nuts. It drives me nuts at any gym. I hate the guys that do this. Oh yeah, and just stop.
Yeah,
Like,
be quiet. I don't want to
I
hear
don't
you.
want to hear you. I'm glad you did enough step ups on that box that you're proud of yourself, but just shut up because I'm not here for that. And the other thing, it's just, I know this is stupid, but it drives me nuts at gyms when guys slam their weights,
Ah.
slam the machines are what drive me nuts because I like doing the machines because it's more of a you're actually doing it right,
Yeah.
and guys will just drop them and then they break.
Hey, quiet
then
with
that
that.
machine
Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah. And
Keep it
I glare at guys and then I make under the breath comments because I'm Captain, snide remark, and I'll
yeah.
mumble. Then I start getting glares, and then I'm like, screw you guys, don't abuse the equipment and don't be a mutant while you're here. It's like, so I don't know. So that's my long story. I'm gonna sign up for the Y again and
Yeah, dude.
start
They
doing
got a
some-
racket. They got a racquetball court there.
They got that. They actually have the track, which I can't stand. Not that I'm a big runner, but I got to try to do some of that. I can't stand doing it on treadmills. And
it
but I will
sucks.
actually go up to the track and I will actually run/walk the track, and
Yeah.
that gets me to do it.
That's good.
So
Yeah, I don't
yeah,
like treadmills. I'd get a Y just for the sauna purely.
yeah,
Um,
yeah,
but yeah, I know it's a bit of a drive. But if ever got a jungle gym subscription, learn how to box, they'll treat you right there. That's
yeah,
cardio right there, and then don't have to run.
yeah.
That's
There's
why I
that
like
too.
it. Yeah,
Yeah, heck yeah,
Dude, yeah,
lots of good
I
options.
hate running. I hate running. I'll do it on a treadmill. I prefer to walk on a treadmill. But honestly, if I have to do any type of leg style cardio like that, man, I love elliptical bikes, like a Peloton or
yeah.
something. I freaking go
Hmm.
crazy. The ones at the gym at my office, literally like a video game on it, and you can like push other ones off the road. And I'm just like,
What the
freaking,
heck?
yeah, dude,
I
it's
gotta
sick.
check.
It's like the big screen. So I just
Huh?
play. It's got like a space level and shit.
Huh?
But
Yeah, no, I love those, but yeah, those are good to burn calories real quick.
yeah. Well, yeah, Jack,
Yeah.
that's good that you're getting back into working out. I will see how long I stick with it, man. What I'm realizing is this diet I'm on, Jesus, man, I don't know how people eat this stuff 24/7. Like, it's not sustainable. Like, I just over time, dude, I feel so hungry for like other things. Like my body, I feel like is depraved of like other things it needs.
It's
So,
just getting used to it. Yeah.
but I don't know, man. I don't know how people don't do cheat meals either. Like that's insane to
Dude,
me.
they do. Yeah. Well, the people that you're probably modeling off of are more plates, more dates. And that
Yeah.
guy is great, but like he's jacked and like he's got his own thing going on. But yeah, I read somewhere that you kind of need to have those cheat meals or else you're just going to break the whole system. No one's built perfect like that.
Yeah.
I refuse to believe that man, David Goggins, doesn't eat a fucking burger every once in a while. I don't believe it. I don't buy it.
Yeah.
He's all about that healthy. I don't buy it.
Well, my buddy, I don't know if either of you knew my buddy Lauren growing up, but
Yeah, a little bit.
Lauren, yeah. So Lauren did this. It's like it was like called Body for Life or something like that. This guy, his name was like Bill Wilson or something like that, and it is Body for Life book. But Lauren followed his steps, which was basically, the way Lauren did it is Monday through Saturday, followed the diet, followed the workout, doing the activities, doing the eating right. And then he chose Sunday as his pure cheat day. And Bill did that. You could eat anything you want on that Sunday. And Lauren did that and just would some Sundays he'd gorge himself and some he
Mhm.
wouldn't because he just was like, he's feeling better, he's feeling fit, he's looking
Yeah.
good. And then he wouldn't. But then other ones he'd be like, you know what? I'm having 2 Whoppers today because I friggin' want to. And he really good on that, having that one cheat day a week. But it was interesting to watch him because, like I said, he started getting 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 weeks into it. And he really wasn't cheating that bad, because he didn't want to
Yeah.
feel like garbage. And
Yeah.
because
True.
you both know how you feel after you eat like garbage, right?
It
You
doesn't
you
you
feel
feel like
great.
shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely, for sure.
And
It's
yeah.
Yeah, I think it's just the over process the problem. Like I have
Oh,
follow this Instagram called Food Lies, and I also watch this other big one called The C Word. And The C Word is a documentary about like how like Kraft and Nabisco and all these companies are owned by cigarette companies that just throw in like chemicals and additives, and that shit literally doesn't make you full. It's like they put certain shit in like processed foods, and it's crazy the amount of processed foods there are, and you don't even think about it, but it's
yeah.
really
And
bad stuff.
it's addictive.
It's
And
addictive.
you
Yeah, it's
create
addictive. Yeah.
and you go, if you go and you have a Whopper every day at Burger King, for example, or a
Hmm.
double or a quarter pounder at McDonald's every day, you want a quarter pounder.
Yeah.
That's what you want.
Hmm.
And it's like I've gotten looped into that before. I'm not as bad as I used to be. There was times where I'm like, it was like fast food every day, 2 meals a day, because that's just what I didn't have any reason to. There was no
Hmm.
reason to do it, but I'm like, I want that. I want that sandwich,
Yeah.
and even though I knew when I was done, I'd feel like garbage and I'd sleep like crap and everything else. But yeah, you're right. You're right, Jack.
It's easy to fall into the trap.
yeah, it
Yeah.
is. Absolutely is. And I'm lazy. I don't like washing dishes. I don't like, so it's like for me, it's a convenience thing, too.
Hmm.
But,
Yeah. That's how it really was for me, man. I hated doing any types of chores, but Destiny, bless her heart, now I do chores. And honestly, man, it's just become part of just become part of life for me. It's like there are some days where like, fuck, I really don't want to do the dishes, but like that's why dishwashers are helpful. Like, you just rinse them off quick, throw them in there. I mean, we were washing everything by hand for a while, but now that I have like a workout schedule, I have to cook a couple days a week to portion out my meals for lunch. I get up really early now and go to bed earlier to make my breakfast. Like I cook eggs and everything. And just like, it's a good structure, but also like, when you get busier and start adding working out and shit into things and then cleaning, dude, there's like no time to fucking do anything. I don't really play video games much anymore. This is the only consistent virtual thing I really do every week. I mean, maybe me, Jack, and I will play a game every couple weeks, but it's nothing. Yeah. It's crazy. Being an adult's interesting and taking care of yourself.
I'm only I'm literally about to turn 21 in like 22 days.
Nice,
man. And I'm not that old, but yeah, it's creeping up on me. We're like, time is money, and like how much time you do waste. I've gotten that app where it just tracks your phone, like how much you go on your phone. That's been helpful just to stay off of it,
Yeah,
it's good. One thing I wanted to change the top. One thing I wanted to pick your brain about, Joe, is how'd you get this movie role that I read here in Hunter 2 and Doppelgangers? How'd that come about?
My film debut that's going to be coming up.
Yeah.
So actually, I'm filming this weekend for Doppelganger 2, which is a short film.
Yeah.
So I'm on this Facebook page called Twin Ports Horror Society. And so it's a really cool group because it's all, if you like horror films and any of that, people will post, hey, this new movie's out. Here's what we think. What'd you think? All that. It's a pretty good group. And then what they'll do is they'll actually do like every month or couple months, they'll do cinema nights. So they'll rent out Zeitgeist Cinema in Duluth, and then they'll do like a double feature of these old horror movies. And it's a lot of fun. They have different events and trivia nights and all that. But so a guy had posted on there for a casting call. Apparently Hunter 1 and Hunter 2 for this short film had to back out of it. And they said, so he's looking for people. So if anyone's interested, reach out. So I, get on there and I'm like, what the hell? Why not?
Yeah, why not?
And,
right.
So they said they were looking for a blue collar, like a more of a rural kind of like paranormal hunter kind of person. And I'm like, well, all right. And so then I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know like how they were gonna interview us or audition us or any of that. And then I left town. I went down to Austin, Minnesota, and did a construction project for a few days to help out a company that I work with. And of course, I'm there my first night, and I get an email, and it says, "I need to do an audition video dressed up as you would think you'd dress for the role, and say these lines, and then get it back to us by Friday." And I'm like, I'm out of town. Like I'm in a hotel, like whatever. So I actually had one of my work vests. Actually, I think I had a hoodie on, and I was dirty from work too. And I'm just like, screw it. This is the best I'm gonna get.
Yeah.
And so of course in the hotel room, I'm trying to find all the camera angles, right?
Yeah.
Trying to set my stupid phone up, and get it to record. And then I'm doing takes of this stuff, and I'm like. So I'm reading the lines and I'm like, I don't know what I stopped myself every like 8 times of recording this. And I'm like, what am I doing? Because I talk like this, right? I gesticulate a lot. I'm pretty, right?
Yeah.
And
animated.
And I was just standing there reading my line, and I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to do this like I would do it if I was talking to somebody. And so I read the lines. Sent it in. I trimmed it up, which is a whole pain in the butt on my Android phone.
Yeah.
I didn't think it'd be that much of a pain in the ass to.
Androids suck for editing videos. iPhones are pretty decent.
I'm editing like a 20 second clip. What the hell is this so difficult for?
Yeah.
And then of course I had to update the app. I had to whatever, all that. And so I get it all done. And I'm like, well, it's as best as I'm going to get. Here it goes. And again, in a hotel. Horrible lighting, just whatever. Yeah. And so then they said on Friday of that week they were going to announce who was chosen for the roles for Hunter 1 and Hunter 2. And I don't hear anything back from them. Nothing. And I'm like, I must not have gotten it. Saturday morning, I'm tagged on a Facebook post. Congratulations to Joe Danger for hunter number 2 in our roll. And I'm like, no one told me.
Oh man, what?
Yeah, and which is fine, but I was just it's like I thought you would have reached out and been like, "Hey, dude, you got it. You know, it's yours." And so what's actually kind of cool is hunter. So I'm hunter number 2.
Okay.
And hunter number 1 is I can't remember his full name, Matt something, but he's one of the local Twin Ports Ghostbusters. So like he actually goes, he's got the Chrysler 300 wagon.
Cool. Oh, okay,
with the Ghostbuster car and everything, and he's like they're sanctioned as ghost. You have to get like sanctioned with that, which is cool because he's a really nice guy and he's a really cool dude. So he got hunter 1, I got hunter 2, and we're filming this weekend, and I that's what I know at this point. And awesome. And then I'm like, what are we doing for wardrobe? He's like, well, the guy's like, just bring some options. I'm like, all right. So I'm pretty much gonna vest it, flannel shirt it, and kind of rural hunter or paranormal hunter, right? I don't know.
I hope they kill off your character in a really brutal way. I think that'd be awesome. Like I always want to be the guy that gets ripped apart in the horror movie. You know,
I heard I get to shoot a gun. So that's cool. That's what I know so far. I've kind of browsed over the script. I got to work on my lines before this weekend. So
Yeah.
And
you're like, I brought all my guns. Yeah, you bring it.
Yeah, I don't know what you guys need. I got one of these. I got one of these. Got options here. But no, so I'm excited. I think it'll be fun. It's I'll get film credits. It's a short film. It's not some big production, but I haven't seen Doppelganger 1, whatever their short film was. Yeah. But apparently it's going to be part of a set of YouTube videos. It's going to go out to film film festivals for the next year. So I'm really, really excited. And what I've heard so far about the crew, sounds like they do a kind of a fun job and a good job. So I'm pretty stoked to be part of it. And of course, my wife's giving me crap. She's like, "Oh, good, another thing you're going to get into." And I don't say it like she's not like that. She's not like No, but she just gives me crap because I've got my hands in so many different projects and things. And oh, good, you're going to go film stuff now. I'm like, sure am.
Yeah.
And then, hey, you never know. In a year, you might see me on the next romantic comedy with Seth Rogen or something like that.
Yeah. I could get a Netflix original to give you a contract.
I think once I finally invest and get that nice camera set up and everything, I think it'd be really fun to do a vlog in Vegas with you, Joe. Me, Joe, Jack. Jack will be 21 by then. That'd be a good time.
That would be
fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
I would do that for sure.
Set it up, get it done.
Yeah.
Let's do it. Yeah, and then I can use it as a tax write-off for my company.
Yeah.
Promotional. I need this.
Promotional.
Yeah. IRS agents watching this and heavy breathing right now. That's awesome, dude. I'm glad you got the role. It should be fun. So is Doppelganger 1 already out? Like, or is it?
I haven't even looked it up. I haven't even looked
it
up.
And find
I have notes. Well, yeah, and he was telling me when I was on the phone with the guy, like, I'm like, hey, what do you need me to do? And Kirk is his name, and seems like a really nice guy. And he's like, yeah, it's part of this film series and blah blah blah. And so I wrote it all down. I haven't looked it up. I'm kind of gonna know my lines, go into it, and just here I am. Here I am. Throw my name on the credits. And that's
yeah.
So I'm excited. It'll be fun. I'm because I was in that. The only other time I've acted was when I was in that commercial for the Iron Mining Association. Remember that one with the pig on the bike?
Yeah.
And
I remember that.
And which they've been showing again because they had the high school hockey tournament. And I'm like, every time they've been playing that, I think I did that in like 2013, 12 or 13.
Wow, it's been
and I'm like, yeah, they played it like during the local ads of the Super Bowl and stuff. And I'm like, I didn't charge enough money for doing that commercial.
Yeah. one thing I do remember that commercial. I remember one thing you pointed out was like, if you look closely, you can see me laugh at the end.
Yeah,
It's like
yeah.
yeah, I just remember that, and you can definitely see it. Yeah.
Well, so I was supposed to be that straight-faced biker, even though that pig, they had a pig rubbing up against my motorcycle.
Yeah.
And I was supposed to be straight-faced the whole time. And I was fine with that. Well, on one of the cuts, I laughed because one of the guys from the Iron Mining Association who was paying for these commercials, he made a joke, and I started laughing on that one cut. And when he made that joke, he pointed at me and he goes, "Keep that in there. I want that in there." So everyone gives me crap because they're like, "You couldn't hold your straight face." And I'm like, actually, I did for like 2 hours of takes on this. And then this guy made a joke, and the Iron Mining Association said, "That's what I want. I want him laughing at the end." and that's, so it's in there. So everybody still gives me crap. They're like, "Yeah, you couldn't hold your straight face." I'm like, bullshit.
They wanted it. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what they wanted. So
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's super cool. How long's filming? Just one day or what? Or weekend?
1 to 2.
Okay.
You know, it looks like my parts on it aren't too intense. So, and they've done already a lot of the primary, like their I don't know how they word it. I guess I'm not too into the film world, but they've done a lot of their background shots and a lot of their other stuff that they need already.
Fillers,
Like environmental setting shots and stuff like that.
Yeah, and they've already filmed a lot of stuff with extras and all that. So it's just kind of, I think the last bout of it, they just, those 2 hunters that were supposed to do it had some emergency or something come up. They couldn't film with them. So then it's here I go. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, I think you'll be good, man. That's awesome. Excited for you.
Yeah. Very cool.
So, you know, growing up, obviously being the oldest brother of 8 is, you know, a pretty crazy thing. You know, you probably have some stories, stuff like that. I guess what I wanted to get into is kind of like the Jehovah's Witness stuff. Like if you wanted to jump down that rabbit hole here for a little bit.
Well, it's funny you bring that up because, so I think I've told both of you I'm writing a book on growing up as a Jehovah's Witness. And actually that's part of what I'm doing between going to work out at the Y, and my April is going to be a little lighter than I thought it was going to be. May, June, July, August, I'm going to be busy. But I'm actually going to start next on Monday, and really I've already gotten several things written, and I've got outlines and all that for my chapters. But I'm really going to start hammering onto it because I've got the time to do it, and I'm sick of saying I'm going to write it. I'm just going to sit down and start hammering it out. And it was I mean, boy, I don't even know where to start with it.
Well, here,
So,
maybe
like,
we'll
what's your number one question?
Well, maybe I'll just give some backstory. So, like,
Okay.
you know, growing up in a big family here, our mother was very religious. She followed the Jehovah's Witness, whatever you call it, religion, cult. What do you want to call it? I don't know.
They call it a religion. But, you know,
and so our mother followed it. Our father never really followed it much, and so like when we would have to go to church on Sunday, we'd all, you know, get dragged there by our mom. You know, our dad would stay home and watch football. That's usually what I wanted to do.
Well, let me stop you quick. Remember, we were going Tuesday nights, Thursday nights, and Sundays.
It was that often.
Okay, I was too young to remember that. Oof.
3 times a week. 3 times a week. So anyway, continue.
And coincidentally, I drive by that place almost every day on Sundays, and there is no one in that parking lot. So I don't even know if that Kingdom Hall is open anymore.
Well, what I had heard of the one in Duluth, they were supposed to build a new one, and because that was too big anyway, they had 2 congregations in there, and both sides were never full. So it's like they could have consolidated to one. So the building was too big. So I'd heard they were building another one. I don't know if they ever did. And then COVID happened, so they moved everything to virtual. So people that sit there and don't pay attention anyway could really not pay attention by sitting there virtually, right?
Yeah.
You know. So anyway, so
so our mom was really into it. Our dad really wasn't. Sometime when I was around 13 years old, ish, my mom stopped kind of following, stopped going, and that's kind of when like the religion thing kind of went away. We didn't celebrate holidays growing up. That's just kind of a thing. No birthdays, Christmas, Halloween. We didn't trick or treat growing up. Jackson, you know, obviously Joe being the oldest, I being kind of in the middle, and Jackson being, you know, one of the youngest, like we all got kind of different perspectives from that. You know, Jackson was a little younger when my mom stopped following, so he did get some holiday stuff when we started celebrating and stuff like that. And, you know, like our mom was always very strict about like witchcraft stuff or like magic or anything with that. So I never got to see Harry Potter, but then again, Jackson was of that age when it was popular and she wasn't following. But anyways, long story short, like we all have different perspectives growing up from how it kind of affected us. And I was just kind of wondering, like, Joe, like, I guess my question I could say is, like, do you think most religions are cults? And like, how about Jehovah's Witness religion that you spent some time in? Like, was there any, like, even though I know you probably don't think fondly of it, are there any positive lessons you got from that you use in life, or not really? Or was it just kind of all a sham? And like, what's your overall thought about it?
Yeah, I think so. Religion, again, we could go down a rabbit hole. We could do this for hours, right? I think I'll tell you this way. I learned a lot of being good to people, being kind, being
morals.
Good morals, right? There's actually a Jehovah's Witness book that I'm sure there's similar for other religions. It's called the Book of Bible Stories. Okay. Mm-hmm. And I still, even like if I had a newborn or I had a younger kid, I'd be like, hey, read these. They've got some good moral lessons, right? These are good things to take away. So I think I did. I learned a lot of the being kind and that kind of stuff. As far as cults, I firmly believe Jehovah's Witness religion, and I firmly believe a lot of other religions, it's a system of control. Okay. That's at the core. They can say it's about believing in God, believing in whatever, but it's a system of control.
Yeah.
You need to be this way or you won't get into heaven. You need to be this way or you're a sinner. You need, and we love everybody and Jesus loves everybody. But if you're gay, well,
get him out of here.
You shouldn't do that. But Jesus loves you. Well, whoa. Well, what is love? What is love, right? And so it's and again, we can go down this rabbit hole over and over and over. But it's a system of control. It's a system of we want you to do this. Like the witnesses, drove me insane because of the hypocrisy in it. Or if you weren't one of the, how do I put this? If you weren't one of the good named families in the religion, okay, so you weren't, the Johnsons, the Williams, the blah blah blahs, the whoever's, and I'm doing this without saying names of local people, but who their family's been in it for years. Well, if you weren't one of them, and they found out you were an alcoholic, for example, they're going to come down on you like the hammer of God, right? But meanwhile, so-and-so from the Johnsons was last week falling off a bar stool at a bar, and a bunch of people were seeing him, and he's been an alcoholic for 30 fucking years.
Yeah.
But he's got privileges in the congregation, and he's well, we don't have proof of that. Fuck you. That's what and it happened within our own family. It happened within our own family of, people coming down on our family versus other families who were doing the same exact shit. And that's where my eyes really went. Really? We're going to play this game?
Yeah.
And it all, and so the witness religion, there were some really good people in it, like anything, there's some really good, awesome people. And then there was some higher ups or people even not higher up, but just in those families that they had this cover over them that it's like, well, they're not, not them. They're holier than thou, and like, I'll tell you about me, just, I'm trying to keep this as brief as I can, but
no, keep going. I want this to be a decent section.
So, and this is all, chopped up because I can, when I get some of my chapters in my book, it'll make a lot more sense. But
Yeah.
so like, for example, in the religion, like I don't know, Jack, how many years ago was it that I started going back again? I tried to go back 8 years.
Yeah,
7
it's
years?
been a while. Yeah, I
7, 8
just caught
years,
the
something like
tail
that.
end of it.
So I'd been out of it for a long time, and I started going back, and I'm I'm 39 years old now. Okay, so early 30s, I started trying to go back, and they everything seemed like, so there's a couple of reasons I started going back. One, they presented this, oh, we're doing things different, we're more progressive, it's all good. And I believe enough of a lot of it to be like, okay, well, maybe I'll give it a try. So I start kind of going back into it. And I'm not shitting you, every couple of weeks, I was pulled into a meeting by an elder, and an elder would be like a preacher or a reverend or whatever you want to word it with any other church organization. So I get pulled into a meeting, and they'd go, we heard you were doing this. Where'd you hear that from? Well, we can't tell you, but we heard that. Okay. Do I get to defend myself? Do I get to say anything? Well, we just want to let you know that that's been said. And like, for example, tattoos. That was one of them, right? We heard you have some tattoos now. Yeah, I fucking do. Does that mean I don't love God? Well, we don't, you shouldn't get tattoos because it's harming your body, and your body is sacred, blah blah blah, whatever bullshit, and so but then it turned into, like, for example, so if you get kicked out of the Jehovah's Witness religion, you're what's called disfellowshipped. Okay. You're not supposed to talk to your family. You're not supposed to talk to anyone else in the religion until you get back in. Okay. And I've been disfellowshipped once before, which I could tell a whole story on just being disfellowshipped. But
and that's when you're kicked out, right?
Yeah, you're kicked out. You're shunned, right?
Yeah.
You're shunned.
Mm-hmm.
You don't talk to them. You ignore them until they go to every meeting. They're studying for meetings. They're doing everything they're supposed to. Then they have to go before a group of dudes and say, well, here's what I've been doing, and I've done better, and I want to get reinstated. Then these guys make a decision on whether or not you've been good enough to get back into their regime, right? So anyway, I had a motorcycle show I did for about 6 or 7 years. And I had hired somebody that was disfellowshipped to do some marketing for me. And I did this motorcycle show with 3 other people. So it was 4 of us involved. And we all decided, hey, let's bring her in. Let's have her go out and do some marketing to get vendors for our motorcycle show, because I'm playing on the send the pretty lady over to get the vendors versus me going and doing it, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And she was disfellowshipped. So people I've known, one person I knew my whole life, and then her husband, who isn't a Jehovah's Witness, but she's a Jehovah's Witness, but he never got involved in the religion other than going to the meetings. He never got baptized in the religion, so he wasn't held by their rules. But she was baptized, but somehow she was able to, as a baptized person in the religion, go get married to him, who was not in the fucking religion, which, when I did that, was totally looked down upon. Well, she should really this. But anyway, she got away with it. So, and I've known her husband for years, and he's no fucking saint. He's a nice guy, but he's no saint compared to following the religious rules.
Yeah.
And everybody loves him and embraces him and brings him into the Kingdom Hall and all that stuff and loves him. So him and her come into this restaurant that I'm having a meal with, talking about this business with this fellowship woman. Basically ignore me and her when they come in, and sit down in the booth right behind us. So she gets up, she leaves before I do. I'm like, I'm going to say hi to so-and-so and so-and-so. And so I go over and hey, how are you guys? And they do the, hey, good, how are you? Whatever. And I'm like, fine. 3 days later, I get pulled into a fucking meeting. We heard you were having dinner with somebody that's disfellowshipped. Oh, who'd you hear that from? Oh, well, I'm not going to tell you who it is. It's actually the guy that was telling me it. That was his fucking daughter.
Really?
That was there. Yeah. And his daughter's known me since she was fucking born. And so instead of having a fucking conversation with me, she turns around, runs to daddy, even though she married a fucking non-believer and who, you know, and it's just like that kind of bullshit just made me go, you know, screw you guys. And the other thing that happened,
that's
so
crazy.
Yeah, so years and years ago, I got a petty misdemeanor, okay? It was against the neighbor that lived behind the environmental firm that I worked at. And he's a fucking psycho, okay? He's yelled at our employees for years and years and years. Opens his window, turn off your equipment, whatever. We do everything legally, whatever. He's just a pain in the ass. Well, no one in the company would stand up to him until I was sick of, after about 5, 6, 7 years of getting screamed at by him. I'm like, no, I'm done getting screamed at by this guy. I'm going to scream back at him. So one day he caught me on a bad day and I flicked him off on his porch. And I'll tell you right now, that day, if he had come off his porch, it'd have been a bad day. One of us would have been in a body bag. I'm telling you that right now, because that's how much this guy, I'm going to work. I'm trying to do my job. Right. Yeah. And I'm not doing anything wrong. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So anyway, the cops decided their way to handle it was to give us both petty misdemeanors. What? Because I flicked a guy off? Really? What? Yeah. Go fuck yourself. Right. You know, sense. And so I had to cave on it. He got 12 months, no same and similar. I said, no. You ain't doing 12 months, no same and similar for me. First of all I did was flick him off. And second, you know, if you know how many people I did that in a day when I was driving, I'm not as bad as I used to be, but and speaking of learning good morals, but anyway, that's a whole other thing. But so I got 6 months, no same and similar. So this was years before going back, trying to get back into this religion and doing this. So I get pulled into another meeting. Hey, I just wanted to talk to you about something. I go, what? Pulls up the newspaper that says that I had this petty misdemeanor, blah, blah, blah. And I go, yeah, what's the problem? That was like 5 years, 6, 7 years ago, whatever. Mm-hmm. Well, some people were concerned about it. Oh, who was concerned about it? Well, I can't tell you who was concerned about it. And I'm like, no, I'm not. Listen, I'm in my early 30s. I'm not playing these fucking childish games. If these people that have known me my whole life can't come talk to me and go, hey, Joe, what happened? How come you got a petty misdemeanor? If these people I've known my whole life can't come and talk to me and go, Joe, why were you hanging out with so-and-so at the restaurant? No. I'm not playing the games.
So I never knew that you actually went back. That's interesting.
I tried to. I'm technically still in the religion. And I'm sure at some point they're going to disfellowship me, but I'm like, whatever, go ahead. The other option, I could write a letter and disassociate myself, but I'm like, and once I write this book, or if any of them see this podcast, I'm sure they'll come after me and whatever else. But once I write this book, it's going to be all hell's going to break loose. And I'm like, bring it. Cause I'm just, you know, and again, not all bad, but those are the short versions. And they're just like other religions. They've had history of child abuse. Within our own congregation in Duluth, there has been child abuse that is not on the books, on the records, but I could name multiple people that were touched by people in higher up positions and shit was done. And so it's like any of them. It's just, and so it makes it, for me, hard to trust. You know, I don't trust those organizations, and I want to, and I know there's a lot of good people. For, you know, we hear about the bad, right? We don't hear about how much of the good, but you know, and I'm not saying I don't believe some stuff, but you know, it's been proven. If you look at the Bible, half the shit written in the Bible was written. There's documents from thousands of years before the flood incident, for example. That's been documented on cave walls for years before the Bible. So and then what do you believe, right? Because you've got men that wrote a book and wrote multiple books. I'm not just talking the Bible. Name your book, right? And how do you well, they were, God spoke to them. Did he?
Yeah, really?
Or did they want to control mass groups of people?
Yeah.
Or did, I'm not saying, and I'm not saying I don't have some faith in something. I'm sure there's something. We're all energy. So, whether do we return to an into the world, into the universe? Is there an energy being? Is there, who knows? I don't know. None of us know. And well, you got to have faith. Well, what the fuck does that mean? Faith in what? Like, because a book that was written by dudes tells me, well, you got to have faith. I don't know.
Yeah, man, that's it's so interesting. Religion to me is it's always just kind of been a cult. I never wanted to go to that shit ever growing up. Wasn't into it. As soon as I didn't have to go anymore, I didn't. It's not the whole, like, because I got bullied a little bit about it, like when mom would, like, specifically, like, I would have to leave class because if we were doing something Christmas related or anything, it sucked. But other than the bullying, that I don't feel like, I don't know, man. To me, I just think we're all here to have a great time and just have a good time. I don't know if there's a heaven or hell, whatever. If there's a God, cool. I'm just here to have a good time. Like, that's like, and like the people that people almost like safeguard their lives in a way with. I feel like there's having faith and then following a religion. You can have faith and have fun, man. There's no reason to, like, I don't know. I can't. That's just what I believe.
I like what Dave Mustaine said about it, because he was also raised. He said it's more of a punishment than it is a religion at times, it feels like. That's kind of how I perceived it growing up. But yeah, I don't think, I guess I don't really hate any religions, and I am like deeply, like, I do like to learn about religions. Like, I know a lot about different religions, and it's good to know that stuff, but you can't put all your eggs in one basket. I don't think so.
And let's talk about big, extravagant, expensive churches. Okay. Do I need to be in a big, extravagant, massive $1 million building to worship God? Is that what a God would expect of us?
No.
I don't think so. And so when I see that kind of stuff, and I'm like, if you quote the Bible, showy displays, what the fuck is your church? You can call that, and I'm not talking about the witnesses because their buildings are pretty simple, but I'm talking about other religions. And you could say, well, that's to God. Well, does God need that? If God created us, if that's what happened, right? Does God need us to be these massive, expensive buildings when meanwhile there's people that are starving and whatever else? I don't think so. I don't buy it.
No, me neither. Well, I like Louis C.K. I'm pretty sure it's him. He's like, God could clear up a lot of shit if he came down with a 15-minute press conference.
5 to 15.
5 minutes.
5 to 15.
Yeah,
Clear
we're
it
good
up.
to go. We're clear. Yeah, there's no problem. Yeah, I have.
Go ahead.
I've never had any positive like reaction to telling people I sort of grew up in that. Like, it's always with the Mormons too. They're like, oh, Jehovah's Witness, they aren't that good, are they? And I'm like, I don't know, man. It's all to each his own. But every time I've said it, people are like,
people are always shocked.
Yeah, they're always kind of shocked. Yeah, because I explained to them, and I was like, I got the less of it because age 10 was when mom stopped following it for me. So I had birthday, I got to trick or treat. So like, I can't really imagine like doing my whole life in that. I think I would have gone crazy, honestly.
You know what's interesting though, Jack, is a lot of witnesses, not enough of them that I was around. Okay.
Yeah.
We don't celebrate holidays. Okay. Then how come your family, like your dad or whoever that doesn't celebrate, how come you're going over to their Christmas party?
Yeah.
How come mom took us to grandma and grandpa's Christmas party? We don't celebrate Christmas. We don't do that. And now I will say about mom was phenomenal because we didn't do all this other stuff.
She'd make sure
we had, she'd make sure we had after, into school year parties.
Yep.
She was really, really good to us that were when we were really in it. And
no, for sure.
And but I'd watch other families in the religion that are, the higher up families. Oh, well, we're going over here, but it's not a Christmas thing. Oh, weird, but it's on Christmas. Odd. Well, that's not
the day
what we're
before.
doing. Yeah, or the same thing. It's like, well, we don't celebrate Thanksgiving, but we're having a fucking turkey and we're doing this and doing that. It's like, well, wait, hold on. Like, where's your separation?
What is celebrating?
Yeah.
Like,
well, what does it mean?
Yeah.
And the Halloween thing, I can get a little bit of like not doing that, but like, just because the witness religion, like, for example, they don't do Christmas because their whole thing is, well, there's no way that the shepherds would have been out in the field in December. Even then, it happened in April when, Jesus was born and whatever. Well, who cares? Who cares if it was December 25th or April 1st or whatever the date you choose is? What does it matter? Well, that's more appropriate. It falls on Nisan 14 and yada, 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 whatever. Like, and the witness thing, they don't celebrate birthdays. You know why they don't? Do you know why they don't celebrate birthdays?
Really
why they tell you they don't celebrate birthdays?
Why?
Because the only birthdays in the Bible mention bad things happened. John the Baptist got beheaded, and I can't remember the other one. So that's their logic of that's why we don't celebrate birthdays. And then we don't celebrate Jesus' birthday. We celebrate the resurrection of Jesus for our dying for sins, whatever it is. It's just like, okay, fine. But, that's the short version. I mean, I know.
And we'll have you on again and we'll go back into it, but
for sure.
We should. And then I didn't, like the other thing too, the stuff you two didn't have to go through. I got pulled into meetings when I was a kid with the elders and mother, and I would be pitted against my best friends. So like Ben Peterson was one of my best friends growing up.
Ben's sick. Okay. Shout out Ben Peterson.
Yeah, Ben's still one of I love Ben. I love him. I don't see him enough, but I love him. He's like a brother to me. Okay. Yeah. Love Ben. And we got pulled into a meeting and we got face to face with him. And we had to tell the elders, well, what did you see Ben doing? Well, he was listening to White Zombie, and he was doing this, and we saw him doing that. And we literally had to sit in front of our best fucking friends and
rat him
out. And it was like, it was embarrassing. It was tough on all of us. And, all of us have gone back around that it's happened to. We've all apologized to each other, even though we don't need to, right? Yeah. I mean, we were kids. We were following what they told us to do. And then these old assholes making us feel like garbage because we wanted to listen to some music that they thought was offensive, and I got to tell you quick about the music. I had one of my buddies growing up, his mom didn't like the music we were listening to. She said it sounded evil. And meanwhile, so I'm prefacing this because I don't care what anyone's sexual orientation is. I don't care what anyone does. Be happy, be you. Don't hurt anybody else. Be happy, right? I don't care. But I brought this up as an example to her while I was in the religion. I was very young. And she loves Elton John. Elton John's okay. Do you know what Elton John is?
Yeah.
Right? And what the religion doesn't allow?
Yeah.
But you heard some guitars that you thought were heavy, and you're going to tell me that that's evil, but you're going to listen to Elton John and go, oh, I really like this song. I really like his music. That is the definition of
hypocrisy.
Yeah,
really.
And then I had another elder. So people give the band Nickelback a lot of crap. I've seen Nickelback a lot of times. They're a lot of fun. They're fun live. And I was going to see Nickelback at the North Shore Theater in Duluth before Nickelback was even a thing. Like when their State album, which is technically their second album, is a total banger. They've got a few banger albums, but that one's a banger. And we were going to that. And one of the elders in the congregation comes to me and my buddy Luke, and he goes, well, heard you're going to a concert. Yep. Well, what is this Nickelback band play? What would you compare them to? I don't know, rock music. Well, would you compare them to like a Beatles? And I go, well, if they were like the Beatles, would that be okay? And he's like, well, maybe, I'm just trying to kind of compare them to, modern to, whatever. And I go, let me tell you this. I go, no, I wouldn't compare them to the Beatles. And I go, do you know the Beatles couldn't almost get in the United States because of their drug fucking charges? And I didn't say fucking back then.
Yeah.
But, and he's like, well, I'm just saying, the kind of music, do you know what half of their songs are fucking about? Do you even know what you're listening to? And you're going to compare that to modern music? It's all the devil's work.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Remember that time John Lennon beat his wife? But I do.
Yeah, right. You know what I mean? It's like,
yeah.
You're picking and choosing because you don't know, and you're not willing to get and you're not willing to get educated. You just want to grab at something and go, well, these kids shouldn't be going to see this Nickelback music. What? Okay, so you're saying I shouldn't listen to any music? Yeah. Well, we're not saying that, but but Elton John's okay. Yeah. Well, is it? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, it's so stupid. Huh.
So it's just, that's what I grew up with. That's what that was my childhood of dealing with that stuff over and over and over and over again till and it sucks because until you get out of it and step away and get into like real world, right? You don't realize what a cloud you're under.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
100%.
You don't see it. And then you step away and you're like, that is messed up.
Yeah.
Like that is really messed up. And I think I'm a decent person.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm not going to let some people tell me I'm not because I have tattoos or because of the music I listen to, or it doesn't make me a bad person, So that's the short version on the witness religion,
They got
like,
pissed
I'm
over
not saying,
Nickelback.
and again, there's some really good people in there. Like any organization, sure. There's some people that I hold dear to my heart that are still in there that I think back to that were just really, really, and are really good people. But there was so much negative and so much control that I can't do it. I can't do it with any. I don't know that I could with any religion.
Yeah.
At the same time, I've looked into going and doing a mission trip to, overseas to help install water wells for organizations, for people that don't have drinking water. And I would do that. I'm not going to associate with join their church, but if somebody needed me to go help because of my work experience, I'd go help install wells. I'd go do a mission trip for a month and help people get clean drinking water. But like, I don't know. And I've been to other services and sat there and been like, this is kind of nice. And then I sit there and then I find out, they accept everybody. But then, they find out that so-and-so that's going there is gay. And well, we love you, but you shouldn't do that. Well, do you love them then? They're not hurting anybody. Yeah. So that's kind of where I'm at.
Yeah. Well, thanks for going into that, man. And we'll go more in depth for sure next time we have you on. But just kind of changing gears and stuff. And first off, I want to say thank you for sharing all that. I know there's a lot to unpack and almost like, I will say this, man, I feel like it being my age now, I think it kind of scarred me a little bit. Like it made me, not like scarred me, but it just made me, I feel like I would have been different. But who knows? Maybe I wouldn't be who I am today if I didn't go through that shit. So
it's true.
Well, at the end of it made me who I am. Mm-hmm. And I mean, I like myself for the most part. I mean, I think I don't know. But how much did the religion, how much did mom and dad working hard, how much did all that play into turning me into who I am? How much, without the religion, even with take the religion out of it, how much did mom smacking me that time I didn't hold the door for somebody, play into, now I hold doors almost to a fault. People will be 40 feet away. I'm like, well, I don't hold this door. I'm gonna get in trouble,
It's
or
the distance to time ratio.
Tip the hat.
Yeah. So I think, I think, a lot of it molded me and turned me into who I am. But I still think, mom, despite the religion, she did a really good job making sure we behaved, or I behaved anyway. I mean, and all of you turned out fine.
Mhm.
It's like, Mom said before, she's like, well, I just feel like I failed you guys because of this and that. None of us are in jail. There's
No, yeah,
eight
right.
kids. None of us are in
Exactly.
jail. We're all working. We're all, you know
Mhm.
what I mean? Like,
Yeah, for sure.
so, but you're right, Paul. I mean, how much does, how, and my wife has brought up, 'cause my wife was a mental health practitioner for 13 years, and she watched, who was the wife in, Everybody Loves Raymond, Leah, what's her name? Leah
Oh,
something.
she's hot.
A little
Anyway,
too
she
old
was
for
in,
me to remember.
well, she was in Scientology, and she got
Mm.
away from it.
Oh yeah.
And
Yeah.
in her show, she did one
Are
of
you
the
sure it
last
wasn't the
episodes.
King of Queens wife?
Oh, King of Queens. That's what
I
it
think they're
was. King of
different.
Queens wife.
Yeah,
Yep,
yeah.
you're right. Yep, Leah Raomi or whatever her name is.
Yeah.
She thank you. That's who it is. She had a couple Jehovah's Witnesses on in one of her last episodes of a show she did,
Mhm.
and Penny watched it and she goes, "Now that explains you." And because what she took away from them summed up some of the issues I have with not feeling like I'm good enough sometimes, and things like that. And some of that self-doubt and whatever else. So yeah, I actually, yeah, I don't know. So yeah, there were negatives that happened from it. There were some positives, and I was the one in the religion that if something was weird, it's like a lot of stuff. Well, don't ask questions. Well, I want to ask questions because I
Yeah.
want to understand what's going on.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but this is the way it is. It's kind of like the whole, and I'm getting a little too deep into religion here, but the Father,
okay.
Son, and the Holy Ghost all being one. I don't understand that. I can't wrap my head because I was raised that Jesus was separate, God was separate. Not Jesus and God are the same thing. God sent his son, but he sent himself down to earth. That does not
Yeah.
compute, right? Does not compute. I don't get it. There's the religions that believe that. And so I just don't, there's things I can't wrap my head around. And I would ask questions and then, well, just because, just believe. Well, no, I'm going to critically think. I'm not going to sit here and just be this mindless drone. Oh, well, they told me this. That's what it is. So I don't know. But again, Paul, I don't know. It made me who I am. I'm just glad I got out of it long enough to get my eyes open.
I think, it may have had part of it. I think it was mainly mom and dad's teaching or parenting style. I mean, at least for me, but I think that's why I'm a hard worker. But I think it's also part of the
Yeah, for
reason
sure.
why I had mental health issues and still kind of do, which I have to say, man, working out / hitting a bag has helped more than when I went to that
Oh.
therapy, I think. Because
Yeah.
I just feel like I'm so tired. I don't have energy to waste on those stupid negative thoughts anymore, man. Like, it's just
Yeah.
like, it's so pointless to
Mhm.
me now. I'm just like, why did I fucking doubt or hate myself so much for things that I know I didn't even do wrong? Like, or, but kind of just rolling into this, like, we both, this is more of a Jackson question I think you put, but I'll ask it. Like, we both grew up with the same parents, but different styles of parenting, right? Because, like,
Yeah.
dad and mom were younger when they raised you. Dad and mom were
Yeah.
a little older when they raised me,
Way,
and
yeah.
even older when they raised Jackson, Mary, West, like all of us younger four set. So I'm just curious, like, and Jack, we can go into your perspective too after Joe
Okay.
tells his, but like, Joe, what were mom and dad's parenting styles for you when you were relatively younger growing up? And what did you notice maybe changed when they were raising me, Jackson, the younger ones?
They were a lot stricter.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I saw, so there's an 18-year difference between me and the two youngest, which is Jack and Mary.
Yeah.
Right. And it seemed like they were stricter with, I don't know how they were, I guess, with you, but for me, they were stricter with school and grades. They were just stricter on the just discipline in general.
Yeah.
And I think that I think they just got tired. right? You know, you have so many kids, and it's just like, and I don't blame them. I'm
Yeah.
not, you know, but I mean, I remember there was a day I was out shoveling, and actually I should wait until Jack gets back for
That's
this
fine.
because this actually involves him. But
And I'll
but
I'll butt in here though quick too, is just like
Yeah.
they as far as the grades thing, they weren't, I don't remember them being very strict with me because I always kind of thrived in school, right? There was that one bad year I had my freshman year of high school, and they were pretty pissed, and like whatever, I ended up doing well after that. But yeah, like it doesn't surprise me they were stricter then because I saw kind of that side come out of them when I did so bad that year because they knew it wasn't like me, you know.
Yeah, so I saw that, and then but with the how they treated like the younger kids versus me and Ben, and me and Ben are the oldest. Like I remember a time I was helping Dad shovel. It was a bad because you know why would Mom and Dad buy a snowblower for the biggest fucking driveway in Woodland?
Yeah,
You know,
right. Yeah, honestly.
And I get it. They had a lot of kids, and always the joke from other adults is, "Well, you got 8, 7 snowblowers, 6 snowblowers. You know what? Buy a snowblower. Okay, spend the money on a snowblower. You got a massive driveway, whatever." So I was there, and I was helping him. I was helping Dad shovel. I might have been, you know, this might have been after my divorce, and I might have moved back in with Mom and Dad for 6 months or however long or whatever.
Yeah.
And I remember, I think it was Jack that was sitting on a snowbank, and me and Dad were outside shoveling, and I shoveled, and Jack, you know, was playing in the snow and pushed snow down, whatever else. And I said, "Hey, could you not push the snow down?" And Jack told me to fuck off. And and Dad just ignores it. Like, what if I told anyone to fuck off at Jack's age, I would have gotten smacked across the fucking room.
I'm sorry about that. I didn't know I did that.
It's you know, and I was hot. I was like, "What the really?"
Yeah.
Like, and Dad's just like, "Well, he's a kid." What? What? And Dad was implying, like, you know, he's playing. You know, he's just playing. I don't care. I'm out here shoveling, busting my ass. And like,
this little shit told me to fuck off.
Yeah, he's
like,
what the hell? Why? No. Well,
and so I mean, I think, and then mom told me that. I don't remember what age. She's like, "I'm tired." She's like, "I'm just tired. I can't." You know, and there was some other stuff like, you know, getting, you know, some of you younger kids getting rides to work and the support and money when it needed and things like that. But then I think back and I'm like, well, actually, I look back and I'm like, well, Dad actually and Mom did a lot of that too. I mean, like when I had my first job, which is a paper route, Dad got up every single morning with me and would drive me on those really cold mornings. You know, I mean, like, that's so cool. There was a lot. There's some stuff. I just saw them get more lax and lax with the language, with with what I felt was respect issues and things like that. And but yeah, that's the big difference I saw. I guess the parenting skills seem to be like, whatever.
Yeah, really. My whole childhood felt like whatever, especially when it came to school. Solid D student. Mom and Dad, they tried a little bit, but it wasn't really emphasis on that too much, just as long as I was passing.
Well, and to interrupt you quick, Jack, I mean, that's a whole nother topic. We can get onto the school system and how now they just push kids through.
Yeah,
they do. They just push kids through because they want the money from the kids. And that's a whole nother topic in itself, because when I went to school, it was like, nah, if you don't get the grades, you're not passing.
Yeah.
You're done. And
for sure.
Yeah. So anyway, sorry to interrupt.
No.
But
well, just one example I had in my head where I ran to the bathroom quick was Paul. I remember Paul. You told the story in the cast when you got caught smoking weed in the house one time, and Mom was livid, just rip. I kind of remember her yelling when I was little at that time. And I just remember her being so angry about that. And Paul's like, "Man, this sucks." You know what I got when I was caught smoking weed in the house? Allegedly. I got a text from her that all it said was, "Please stop smoking weed in the house." And she said, "Please." Started with "please." And then I never did it again. But like, that's all I got.
Yeah, I didn't get that. I'll tell you that much.
I got a text.
Do you two realize when I was say 16, whatever, 15, 16. If I had been smoking weed in the house, I would have had, first of all, my ass would have been beat. I'm not shitting you. And second of all, I would have had if I had a job at the time, I would not be going to my job anymore. I would have to quit my job. I would have been locked in my room anytime that I was not at school for months. I guarantee you, it would have been, bring the hammer down, like 100%, 100%. So there's your difference. Please don't smoke weed in the house.
That's all I got. That's all I got. Yeah. Well, and it just goes to show that just because how lax they were, I still think I turned out all right. Again, with respect, maybe as a child, I didn't have as much, but I definitely grew up to be very respectful. So they did hit it in that mark, in that regards. But it always felt like more of a lax childhood than my perception of your childhood, Joe. Which again, I didn't know a lot about your childhood either, because you're just huge age gap. It's kind of weird.
And being in the middle for me was weird because I was a pretty misbehaved. Like, I was a bad kid. I was not very respectful. I'd still kind of swear like a sailor. I had a potty mouth. But also too, like, I think at a certain point you can't really prevent kids are like just hormone machines going through all these changes. They grow extremely quick. Even Jackson saying that he was bad, but then he leveled out. I leveled out. You probably leveled out, but I just feel like the parents being on you about that doesn't help you level out. Like, they just try to prevent it or stop it from happening as much but it's just going to happen. Like, the kid's going to grow up. I don't know. Everybody's different though. And the environment is different. But I think like mom and dad did extremely right. Is just like teaching us good work ethic, good manners, morals, coming from the kind of religion side of things. And I think that's, all that stuff sticks with you through life. Sure, you go through puberty and all that shit, and you're just a fucking shithead. That's just how everybody is. Like,
and I think, and mom and dad, I that's the one thing I tell everyone about them. I mean, they both have worked hard their whole lives. Dad's retired now, but he still does a lot. He's busy, and mom's working her ass off as a nurse. Which we could, and I it's tough. It's tough to, I look back and go, I can't imagine raising 8 kids. I can't imagine. They're psychos, right?
It's always when I tell people, I have 8 brothers, and they're like, I always have to lead it up with same family though, same family. They're like, what?
Same parents.
It's always that. Same parents. They're like, what?
People don't get that.
Well, and also, I guess Joe would know more, but Dad was on the ships for the first couple kids, right? So it's got to be just mom managing it, and crazy, dude. Like,
well, I say that, and then I also say mom's delivered babies for her whole career. She knows how to not fucking have babies. So, but I mean, for them to have, I can understand, like, because all of us kids have a different take on, mom and dad and how they are and everything. But I could see where having 8 kids, I totally could get where, man, you're gonna have some bouts where you're gonna lose your shit, and it ain't gonna be pretty. But props to them. I mean, married how many years? Same people, same kids. I mean, that's getting rarer and rarer.
Oh yeah, absolutely, for sure. Yeah.
Don't 50% of marriages end in divorce?
It's pretty high.
It's pretty
high. And then what it is it's always, and I'm not totally throwing stones, but it's like, oh, I've got 3 kids from 2 or 3 dads, I've got 2 kids with 2 different women, or 3 kids with 3 different women, whatever. And it's like, Jesus, like, just wrap it up.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
But
I guess I'm glad I'm glad I don't have a kid right now, and I don't know if I ever want kids. I don't know, man. That's a big. I mean, there are so many people from high school I know. I'm sure, as you know, Joe, growing up, just like already have kids, already freaking married,
I know from high school,
have kids with multiple people. Yeah, I think it's crazy.
It's like, I don't know.
Well, and it's good for them, but you know what I hate about it? So this is what and now my wife came with a kiddo who's now my daughter, and she's awesome.
Bella's great.
But Bella's great. She's a really good kid, and she's awesome. But what I don't like, and it's I get it. People have kids, but it's tough for me with friends that have two or three little kids, and you can't even. It's tough to hang out because you can't even have a conversation because it's always they're looking over at what the kids are doing. And it's like, God, and good for them. It makes them, do your family thing, do whatever. But for me, is like Bella's 11, and I can be like, go hang out over there. Or she's actually contributes to conversations. She's pretty good at it, versus the kids that I'm like, I go out with some people and I'm like, I don't spend more time. Like, what are the kids doing? Like, I don't give a shit. Can we have an adult conversation?
Right? It's what I notice. It's what I notice gets tougher and tougher getting older, Joe, as your friends have kids. Like, you can't really even hang out with them. And that's why people say like having kids lets you hang out with your friends when your kids can hang with their kids. And it doesn't,
right.
It's tough. It's super tough.
Yeah. It's interesting.
I couldn't imagine ever having kids. I mean, not in any time soon, at least, just with the way things are priced right now. If I'm ever at a point where I'm not like living paycheck to paycheck, I'd like to have a kid, but that's far off in the future at this point.
Well, and Jack, not just the money. Look at our climate we're in right now.
Yeah.
Like, and now, so I've heard the argument both ways. The argument is, well, the climate, do we need more kids? Do we whatever? But then the argument is, well, shouldn't the good people be having kids? Because we have too many people that are Jimmies. Have you guys? Have either of you addressed? Have either of you addressed the term Jimmy on here?
No, I don't think we
Jimmy's
have.
a good term. No,
Can we do that?
Yeah, go ahead.
Break it down. Yeah, we're gonna break it down.
Yeah,
a little bit.
go ahead, Joe. What's a Jimmy, Joe?
Here's a Jimmy. Okay.
Okay. All right.
A Jimmy. It doesn't matter your race. It doesn't matter your gender or identity. A Jimmy is a piece of shit. Okay. If you're a shady fucker, you're a Jimmy. Okay.
Yep.
I don't care what you look like, what your background is, whatever. Like, for example, did both my truck got hit a month ago in a parking lot?
Yeah, you told me about this.
I did not.
Yeah.
No. Damn.
Yeah. So I'm parked at the shack in Superior having dinner, and somebody pulling a U-Haul trailer pulls around a corner they never should have taken, pulls a 2017 Ford Explorer into my 2020 pickup truck, rips the front end off the Ford Explorer, pulls that Explorer into my truck, driven by a kid. The truck was a piece of shit 2008, Dodge shit box, right?
Mm-hmm.
And, oh, no, I talked to the dad. Oh, I got full coverage. Well, the gal that got hit with the Explorer looked up the dad. He's a Jimmy. I looked up the son. He's a Jimmy holding up some $100 bills in his Facebook profile. Just a total, look at me, boss, right? Oh, boss, really? Pulling your U-Haul trailer in your dad's shitbox truck. And no, not enough insurance to cover both vehicles. So I had to use my own insurance to get my truck repaired. So that's a Jimmy. Okay. Yeah. And we don't need those people making more kids. Those people need to stop. If there's ever a lesson for birth control in the water and a test, you don't need a test to have a kid, right? Mm-hmm. You need a test to get a driver's license. Why isn't there a test?
Yeah.
Why isn't there a test to have kids?
Yeah.
It's insane.
It is. And
then these people just keep churning out more garbage people over and over and over. And I'm sorry, they are. Because it's a cycle, right?
Yeah.
Mom and dad are losers. They breed losers.
Yeah.
And it just keeps happening and happening and happening. It
doesn't end.
That's the problem. That's the problem.
You know what that reminds me of, Joe? I just watched that movie, Destiny. I've never seen it, but I liked it growing up. Parenthood with Steve Martin and Keanu Reeves is in it. We just watched John Wick 4, and then that evening we watched Parenthood, and I'm like, that's John Wick, like that, but he says literally what you said is like, you need a license to catch a fish, a license to drive a car. How come you don't need a license to be a dad or be a parent? And it's like, it's totally true. As much as like as messed up as it is, like we are the country of freedom, right? We have a lot of freedoms, not all of them, but People say like, oh, that's not freedom, but it's like, honestly, man, it's almost like they should just vasectomy every guy, and then like you get it undone if they realize you're fit to be a parent or something. I don't know, man. Like at birth, you just get a vasectomy. Like I don't know, like
I don't know what the answer is, but they've got to do something because these shitheads that keep churning out more shitheads, it needs to stop.
It ain't working.
That's the problem, you know.
Yeah, the shit apple doesn't fall far from the shit tree.
Right.
Yeah.
Totally. And like, I guess I just don't even know where I was gonna go with this, but I guess I kind of just lost my train of thought. But whatever. Like, exactly. Jimmy's should not be having kids. No more kids. Please stop. And this is what I was gonna say. People, it's because smarter people or good people are the ones that are like smart to not bring a kid into the world when they can't afford to have one / raise one, have the time, the resources, whatever. And that's what's tough, right?
Yeah.
Because like, I wish good people would just have more kids. And it's funny, I say I maybe don't want kids. I consider myself a good person, a person that will be like well established eventually. I already kind of am. Like, I'm not saying I'd want to right now. I could afford a kid right now. I don't want to afford a kid right now.
Yeah.
Like I'm young.
No,
you know?
Thing. Yeah, for sure. Well, yeah. And also people aren't really having kids. Like that's actually a problem lately. Is just people aren't having kids. And we'll see that more in our lifetime, Paul, is like, there's going to be a shortage of young people.
Yeah.
And that's coming because people in their 30s just aren't having kids anymore. Chalk that up to a lot of different things, but some I always kind of keep an eye on.
Yeah.
Well, we need to make sure the good people are having some, because really what we need to have happen, and this is a whole nother tangent, we need to get the 80-year-olds out of politics.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
100%.
We need to get that. That's a whole nother show.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
but we need to get those. If you're 80 years old, I'm sorry. I know some 80-year-olds that are very, they're
with
mentally great and awesome and whatever, but we need to not have them running the fucking country.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. It's time to go. It's time to move on. And that's a whole other topic.
Can I have a president in my lifetime that's not an old man? Like, is that possible? Could we just get a 35-year-old out the bat?
Yeah.
That's all I want.
I'd be fine with a 40-year-old. Some work experience. Maybe he's had a bankruptcy. As you know what I mean? And not a bankruptcy as in like, I'm a business owner and I've got millions of dollars. Like, can we get someone that's had some life experience, maybe been through one divorce, a guy
that maybe grew up, but earned his money, a guy that maybe worked hard to get through some Ivy League school that didn't go there on a scholarship and paid it off himself or something. Like, I wouldn't mind if they're going to some good school, but it's when they come from rich parents, rich families already that are already rich, so they get all the fucking opportunities. That makes a person miss out on those life experiences, those hardships. We need somebody that's went through hardships. Like, I don't care what skin color they are. I honestly wouldn't even care if it's a woman. I wouldn't care as long as it's like, I don't care. Like, as long as they have went through shit and understand what the struggle is, like even grew up middle class, maybe poor, earned their way, were just smart and made the right choices and disassociated themselves with the bad choices and the bad people that could have dragged their life down. I don't know. We need someone younger for sure, though. For sure. Younger, and that has actually went through some shit. Not some fucking millionaire.
Younger and not controlled by money. They're all fucking liars. They're all criminals. And I shouldn't say a lot of them. They've all done shady stuff. There's all back end deals between healthcare and whatever else. There's all the back end. Oh, you're sponsored by so-and-so? No.
Well, I've always had an idea just in the back burner. Like, I know it'll never happen, but if you're like a politician or a senator, like you have to have a tape recorder on you 24/7 that's running your entire day if you're working. Yeah, why not?
Why not?
Your entire work
cops
day.
have to wear a camera when they're working.
Yeah.
Why don't the politicians?
Why don't they? I always was like, so we really know what's going on, but it'll never happen.
No,
I'd love it.
It's a messed up system. That's a whole other show.
Yeah, right. Oh, you can go into hours.
Joe, what did you think of the Last of Us show?
So, I haven't played the game since it came out.
Did you play the second one?
I think I did.
Second one's really
maybe
good.
I didn't. I don't know if I did or not. I might not have.
Story sucked.
but I
I
played
like
the
the
first
story.
one, and I know you disagree, Paul. I thought the first one was slow and kind of boring. Okay, I was okay. I got through it. Now I actually say that I want to. They have the remastered and the whatever one. You
Yeah,
know,
they
I
just
want to.
came out with it. Yeah.
Yeah, I want to get it and replay it. But I thought, first of all, I'm a big fan of and I say I'm a big fan. I'm forgetting his name right now. Pedro
Pascal.
Dude,
yeah.
dude, I watched that Nicolas Cage movie you told me about with him. The unbearable weight of
Unbearable
massive
Weight.
talent, dude. That movie was actually pretty good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
not a bad movie.
it.
But hey, when you got Nick Cage playing himself, I like
Yeah.
Nick Cage anyway. You know?
Yeah.
But I like it. I like his acting, and I think they found a perfect person to play him in
Yeah.
Last of Us. I think to play Joel. I think I don't
nailed
know
it.
who else I would have cast other
No,
than maybe
honestly.
me. Other than maybe me after I get a few movies under my belt, you know.
Yeah,
But honestly, I think the casting was phenomenal, and I liked it. It kept me engaged. Even though it was a great storytell. It was a
Yeah.
phenomenal storytell.
See,
And-
I think you would have. I think the reason why you like the show better is the show timeline wise was very sped up compared to the game.
right,
Yeah.
right.
And
Yeah,
it was different, but
But I enjoyed it. I liked the few times it got really brutal. Because I try to in movies and shows I try to put myself in those situations.
Yeah.
You know, and I see a lot of, and we all think like, hey, if we were in that situation, we'd do this or do that. But I saw a lot of myself as far as like, that's how I'd be. Like, you want to get into somebody I care about or whatever's going on, it's on in that realm, in that world, we're doing it.
yeah.
And there's no quarter, right? No mercy. We're gonna,
Right, yeah. There's no cops.
you're
Yeah.
done. And so I liked it. I really, really did. And I'm excited for the next season. I thought it was done well. I thought it was done very well.
Good. So you know what happens to Joel in the second game, then, right?
I don't know if I do or not.
I'm not
All right,
I'm not gonna.
better
All I'm
say.
gonna say is when that first or second episode of that second season comes out, depending on how they do it, you're not gonna like it, man.
I don't want to watch it.
I don't want to
wanna
watch
watch
it
it.
either.
Who they gonna get to fucking play Abby? I still
Dude,
wonder.
whoever
not
plays
mess that
Abby, it
casting.
better be some jacked chick because
Yeah.
she's jacked in the game. When you play as her,
Scary Jack.
she's
She's
scary,
like
Jack.
bigger than most of the guys you fight.
Yeah,
in the fucking
dude.
whole game.
So,
Yeah.
I don't think, now that you mention, I don't think I played the second.
Oh, okay.
I don't think I did.
Dude.
Because
The second
just-
one is just
Go
like
ahead.
in terms of game mechanics, everything the first game should have been. Like
the
just-
mechanics are a lot better.
Oh, it's so
the
much better. I
movement,
love
the
it.
gameplay,
Yeah.
the stealth,
Okay.
You can lay down.
the gunplay.
just-
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you can?
Yeah.
You try to lay down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The gunplay, everything's great. Jackson doesn't think the story was that good. You're not gonna like the story when you first get into it. It grew on me. I am honestly due for another playthrough of it. I've only played through it once. I took my time, but I ended up liking, because you'll see, like, each of the stories kind of has a lesson. Like, not everybody's good. Like, at the end of the first game and at the end of that first season, not everybody's good, man. Everybody does bad shit, like, in that type of world. And you'll kind of see the lesson at the end of the second game when you play it. And, you know, I've heard that which is, I think is weird, is I think they're saying the second game is going to be spread across 2 different seasons.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Where I honestly thought they could have done that with the first to kind of grow Joel and
Absolutely.
Ellie's relationship a little more. But also, they might completely change how the second one goes. Who knows what they do?
Well, yeah.
Um,
Like I said earlier on the cast, if the scene where Joel gets stabbed with the bat and he slumps over, what if that just ended the season and then a year later they continue it? That's how I would have done it. That's how I would have split it
Yeah.
up. It's just that cliffhanger. But yeah, again, if they're gonna do the second season, you know, they're gonna do 2 seasons or the second game. I'm like, why? Just do the first one, you know, because it's better. It was good. It holds up. I hope there's more infected.
yeah.
In the next one than the show, because the show they didn't really capture like too much of the infection. I kind of wish it was
Even
more
Walking
clickers and
Dead
stuff.
had like more.
More,
I mean, I know it's
more
about the
Walking.
people, but it had more
Yeah.
infected in it. You know,
Yeah, it's more of an element that's gonna kill you. Yeah, for sure.
like that
It's good though.
danger's
I
always
like it.
there.
Well, yeah, like we said again, it was the best video game to TV series or movie adaptation we've
So
seen.
far,
I think.
yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Halo was such a goddamn flop,
Ah,
man.
the
They
first episode
ruined
was
it.
good.
I didn't
Yeah.
watch it.
The
I didn't
first
watch it.
first episode
Nah.
was sick. That's all you need to watch. Watch that,
Yeah.
you're good. Don't watch anything else.
Yeah, definitely like that. Mhm.
See, I'm a big Resident Evil fan. So
Yeah.
I didn't hate, but I didn't think they did a very good job with the Netflix one. So
Yeah,
I don't
I didn't see
yeah,
it.
I didn't think that was done very well. Now if they do it next season, maybe they can redeem themselves. But
I don't know. I would just grab Resident Evil 4 and put that into a movie and same story.
Yeah.
And same
why
setting.
not?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just do that. Or like even any of them. But you could do Biohazard. I'd
Dude,
be happy. Or, you know, 'cause it's still
didn't
good
Resident
games.
Evil 4 just come out on VR remastered, or is that coming out
Yeah.
soon?
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
Matt-
dude. Yeah,
Matt's
that's
got it.
gnarly.
Matt's got it.
One of us got to get a VR headset, man.
Yeah, just Paul. You're the one. You got that $3,000. I can't run that. My PC would blow up.
Yeah,
it's
dude.
VR.
Yeah,
Like,
actually, my PC is pretty baller. I could get a
It'd look
pretty
nice.
slick one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey,
No.
Can we talk about PCs? I'm sitting over here with my Dell that my brother said if I buy this Dell, he's gonna hop it up for me, and he hasn't fucking done it
The
yet.
parts
So-
are right over there. I'll do
All
it. I'm
right.
sorry. I just haven't been in town. The only thing I also am not looking forward to is transferring all that shit on your drive to a new computer. I mean, it's fine. It's just going to take me like an afternoon.
I'll be honest with you. This one I have, this is a banging computer compared
It's
to what
slick.
I
It's
really
slick.
like it.
It's slick.
That's cool.
Those Dells they're decent, man. You just gotta take care of them and update them. The problem that people have with a lot of those PCs is they don't fucking run the manufacturer updates. They just run Windows updates. You need to, because like if you have Dell Command Update installed, just run those goddamn updates every once in a while. Your computer will run
Well,
fine.
it wants to update every 3 days, and I do it.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I'm keeping up with it. So.
Yeah, exactly. He'll be fine. Joe, just quick back onto The Last of Us quick. You know that episode with David, the kind of like cult leader guy, the one that tries to like rape Ellie. Do you remember, or you know the guy, like his secondhand man, the one that Ellie hits with the cleaver and kills him?
Yep.
You know who that was?
Who?
That's Troy Baker. That's the guy that played Joel's voice in the video game.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah, that's Troy
Oh, I
Baker,
didn't know
dude.
that.
That guy, yeah, that's second.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were
Yeah.
like, oh, we wanted to cast him, but he's just too young, and and he didn't really look like Joel. But I found that out, and I'm like, oh shit, that is Troy Baker. He's the guy that did Booker DeWitt's voice in BioShock Infinite. Yeah.
Oh,
Yep.
okay. Interesting.
He does
Okay.
like, dude, he does like, you go look up his name. He has like a massive track record of video game voices. Like he's around.
Usually it's just one guy that gets a lot of them. Yeah.
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 Well, guys, we're at almost 2 hours here. Do you think we should wrap it up? Is there any final things you want to talk about? We went pretty long, but that's all right. This was a good
Well,
show, and we'll have you on again.
You tell me if there's anything else you want to ask me. So
Let's see, Jack.
Okay,
Any
well,
last things?
I got one I wanted to ask you. We can do this quick or take as long as you want. What's the best event or I guess concert you attended, and what's the worst one?
Ooh, that's a
you've
good one.
attended? I've been to a lot of shows. So what you got for us?
So I figure I haven't counted, and I've got most of my ticket stubs from throughout the years, and I've
Okay.
been to hundreds of concerts, hundreds.
That's
I mean,
awesome.
it's insane.
Sick.
Damn, I should be
Um,
keeping mine. I never do that.
Yeah, I've
Mine are all
got
online.
them all. I got them all around and in a few different locations, but so I want to touch on a couple bands mentioning that. Me and Luke Van Kessel, Lukey was one of my other best friends growing up, and me and Luke had probably seen the band Seven Dust probably 20 to 30 times.
That's
lots
awesome.
of times. And we used to say, because Seven Dust used to come to the Twin Ports all the time, between the Twin Ports and cities, we'd say every time Seven Dust comes to town, it's the best day. Like it always is. So I always think back to those Seven Dust shows, but it's tough to pick one, right?
Yeah.
Because even if we got a favorite band or whatever, one that I always think of is I saw Chris Cornell, Soundgarden's lead singer, at
That's awesome.
First Avenue, Minneapolis.
I've been to
And
that venue.
yeah, and Chris Cornell had an aura a visible aura around him. I'm not kidding you. Like he had, like you couldn't stop, like just like, oh my God. And it happened that at that show, I ran into about probably 20 people that I knew, like just by chance, you know, whatever. So I was having conversations and we're listening to songs we grew up with. And we're watching, and then we turn and we just all look at Chris Cornell and just stare. And it was like, he just suck you in, right?
Yeah.
Phenomenal. That's one that always stands out.
That's
there
awesome.
was one of my times seeing stuff.
R.I.P. Right? Like, didn't Chris Cornell pass away?
He's dead. Yes.
Yeah.
Chris passed. Yeah. There was a Stone Temple Pilots show that was very, very similar to that for me. There's two Velvet Revolver shows. I've seen them a few times, but that they really pulled to me. When the only time I got to see Motorhead, I
sponsored.
it was just magical. It was pure, no bullshit rock and roll, and that's one that always sticks out. AC/DC, probably their 2002-ish.
I'd love to see them, man.
Yeah, one of their 2002 shows was just phenomenal. Foo Fighters every time, just a banging, awesome rock and roll show.
What's the worst?
And the other one that really stands out for a really good one, Slash with Miles Kennedy and the Conspirators. Miles Kennedy, I don't know how much either of you know about Miles Kennedy, but he's with Alter Bridge. He's played with Slash. Probably one of the top 5 to 10 vocalists in rock music in the world right now. Miles Kennedy is phenomenal, and he's got a bunch of albums with Slash. And I remember we saw them at Moondance Jam, and it was me and Sam, our brother Sam, and me and Sam just got same deal, sucked in between Miles Kennedy and Slash. We were just like staring and singing every song and loving it. And I don't know if it was that same weekend, but there was another weekend there where Motley Crue, it was me, Sam, and Max, and it was kind of the same thing. And just, we were all just rocking along, singing. It wasn't just a concert. It was the whole environment and everything. And we got sucked in. And then one of my other, I hate to, because I can't pick one. I can't pick one.
It's all good. Keep going.
Butch Walker is one of my favorite singer-songwriters and producers. Butch was in a band called the Marvelous Three. They had one hit back in the day called Freak of the Week. They had a couple other hits or a couple other songs on the radio, but Butch's solo stuff is amazing. I've seen him live a bunch of times. Another guy that, like, you might be in a room with 50 people and Butch Walker, and he just pulls you in. Just a phenomenal talent. As far as bad shows, I've been to a few that people have ruined.
I know how that goes.
Yeah.
Like who you're with. I hate to say it because I'm a big Ronnie James Dio fan, but
I'd love to see Dio.
Me too.
Well, and Dio passed, but
damn it.
He did.
Yeah, I did get to catch him with Heaven and Hell, which was Black Sabbath with Dio, which was great, but my ex-wife ruined half of that fucking show. So that was, but I didn't get to catch him. But then I went and saw his hologram tour, circling back to holograms, right?
Yeah.
And the gal I was supposed to go with fucking bailed on me the day of and used the whole, well, I don't know who that is. Well, let's go to the cities and just have a good time. Like, who gives a shit,
Yeah.
That's one of the things I love about my wife. She doesn't care who it is. If she knows the band or music or whatever, she's like, I'll go. We'll have fun,
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So this gal bailed on me. I couldn't find anyone else to go with me. I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to the Dio hologram show. And I know it's a hologram, whatever. And I went, and it was one of those shows that I wish I was with somebody else. And the hologram parts were cool, but I didn't realize they were bringing in 2 other singers.
Oh yeah.
For half, 3/4 of the other songs. And I'm like, I don't want to hear that fucking guy. And I can't, if I thought about it for about a minute, I could think of the other 2 singers. I don't want to hear them.
Mm-hmm.
I don't give a shit if they can sing Dio songs. I want to hear Dio. Yeah. And I came here for the Dio hologram with Dio's band playing this music. And I left early because I'm like, well, fuck it. First of all, I got to drive back to Duluth. Yeah. And second of all, I'm like, I didn't come to hear these guys. So that one disappointed me. The other one that really bummed me out, I shouldn't say really bummed me out, but it stands out. Okay, it stands out as a bad show. Yeah. There was a band that both you probably never heard of, Better Than Ezra. Okay, and they had a couple of hits in the 90s and whatever, and but Better Than Ezra was playing at the North Shore Theater in Duluth, and this is for one of the radio stations I work for, and they were playing for like our New Year's Eve party. So this is a lot of years ago, and Better Than Ezra hadn't had a hit on the radio in years. Okay, yeah. like they had a couple songs, and we all wanted to hear the one. And North Shore Theater hadn't been opened, and they decided to open it to do this New Year's Eve party, which we advertised, gave away tickets for, and all that stuff. Well, we get in there, and in a lobby of North Shore Theater in Duluth, and it's cold. You're all like, "What the hell? There's no heat on." There was no heat on in the whole lobby of the North Shore, and it's winter. It's like New Year's Eve, right? Yeah. And they had to get big torpedo heaters and put them in the lobby. And you got these giant torpedo heaters running. And I'm surprised the carpet didn't catch on fire. Like, I'm not kidding you, So we get into the main area of the North Shore where the stage is, and they had they had heat in there. Somehow they had heat on in there. I don't know, or at least it felt like they did. Better Than Ezra's sound was cranked to like 11, but to the point of ear piercing. Like, I mean, I'm a big fan if it's too loud, you're too old.
Yeah.
But this was like ear damage, piercing. And I didn't even stick around long enough. I take it back. I think I stuck around till they played their biggest hit. And then I'm like, and they only played it like 5 songs in or 6 songs in. And I'm like, I'm out. Yeah. Screw it. I'm not done. My ears hurt. I was like, it was just brutal. So that was, that one stands out. And
it sounds horrible.
For whatever reason, I was just like, and then there's other, like I met David Draymond of Disturbed. And cool. I'm a decent, I'm going to say I'm a huge fan of Disturbed, but I like some of their music and whatever. And I got to meet him, and he kind of ruined the show for me, because when he met me in the meet and greet, I said, "Hey, can you sign that?" I don't remember what I had him sign, my ticket or whatever it was. I go, can you make it out to Joe Danger? And he rolled his eyes at me, and he's like, "Joe Danger, did one of those things." He's like, "Whatever," and signed it. And I'm like, "Fuck you."
Yeah.
Fuck you and your ooh, like, who the
that was the guy from Disturbed that said that?
Yeah. He did that to me, and I'm just like, fuck off, man. And then I'm like, I didn't even stay for the whole show. And so that one stands out too, just for someone I met that was asshole. Like, it's just like, what the fuck?
What the hell? Fuck that guy.
Well,
yeah,
I'll quickly interject, and I'll say my favorite, best concert and worst concert. And Jack, maybe you can go too. Best concert for me, hands down. It wasn't just because of the band, even though they're kind of one of my favorites. I saw Born of Osiris. They were in Duluth. They played at the Red Herring. Okay, they're like a decently big band. No one knew they were there. I was there, and there was like 40 people there at the Red Herring, dude. It was awesome. It was like a basement show. I don't even think the Red Herring exists anymore. I think they've gotten rid of it. Yeah. Dude, it was like 2 months before they closed. That was a banger show. Like, they had it rocking in there. Like, it was a super good time. I got to talk to like the lead singer for a little bit. That was super cool. Best show just due to like the environment and just like being literally in front of them. Like, I was in the front, Yeah. So that was sick. And it was almost like a private show in a way. And then worst concert. I don't really have a dead set one, but I'm just going to say every single concert I've seen at the Myth in Maplewood or Maple Grove or whatever has been fucking dog shit sound. I can never hear the vocals, dude. We went and saw Hell Yeah there, and I love Hell Yeah. It was horrible. Like, they played well, but the sound was horrible, like it always is there. That venue's fucking garbage. But whenever I go to a venue, and it's not just that one, I've been to a few others, maybe sprinkled throughout. Why does the guitar and the drums need to be 10 times goddamn louder than the vocals? I want to hear what the guy's saying. Figure it out.
Paul, me and you were having a conversation just like this on the main floor, probably 20, 30 people back at Hell Yeah. And we could talk just like this. That's how bad. And that was a 93X like party. Like that was their big fucking event. And I'm like, who the fuck's running the sound on this? I can't even hear the fucking music.
Yeah.
You know? That was embarrassed. I would have been embarrassed if I was, you know, like
you should be embarrassed.
They should be. And we were so stoked to see Hell Yeah. I mean, it was like,
another really good show I saw. I don't like the Caboose venue. It's kind of laid out stupid, but when August Burns Red played there, they play there in the cities like once every year. They tour a lot. They always come to the cities. Dude, what I think it was the second show I saw of them was at the Caboose, and that's when I learned about In Heart's Wake played and stuff, and like all these other bands I haven't heard of. I liked that concert because there were a bunch of bands I'd never heard of that played that I still listen to every once in a while. And In Heart's Wake was really cool and stuff.
That's cool.
That was a fun show. But yeah, that's all I can really think of right now. But Jack, how about you?
So my best and worst are actually the same concert, and you'll know for some reasons. I caught Knotfest in Iowa. So that was Slipknot, Megadeth, Lamb of God, Suicide Boys. I could name, there's like at least 20 bands playing that day. A lot of big names. Lamb of God was really fun. I remember them. I never like was really into them, but I got into them after I saw them live because it was sick.
They're great live.
Yeah. Just going to, it was kind of like my first concert. I didn't like, it was just like me planning it with my buddies, you know, and we all went, had a grand old time, you know, event of 30,000 people. So that was really fun. Slipknot, really awesome live. I would love to see them again. Really fun. But I'll never forget, this event's notorious for not having any water. People were passing out left and right through heat exhaustion. They had 3 booths for water. Each one you could see with the naked eye where they were. You can see one's over there, and I'm at one right now. They're that close together. And they had 4 people working it for 30,000 different people. And get this, all the other vendors were banned from selling any drinks. So it's not like you could go to that food truck and be like, you got any water or pop? They're like, no, we can't sell it because, you know, Knotfest said no. So I ended up waiting 2 hours in line just to get a case of water that cost me like $60 just to get like 12 waters. And it was fucking atrocious. But to be fair, I missed Tech 9 and Kajora's set, and I didn't really care about either of those. So I didn't want to see Tech 9. I was good with him. So happy to miss that. But yeah, I just remember waiting.
Tech 9.
I just remember waiting in line, almost passing out for 2 hours just to get fucking water. And yeah, I got it, but holy shit, was that an extremely poor run vent? Like, I can't believe that. They should another be embarrassed. They should Slipknot. You should be fucking embarrassed. They should, it's your hometown. It's literally Slipknot's hometown. Like, how do you fuck up that bad? But yeah, that was definitely the coolest concert I've been to, and I've only been to about 10. So
the other one that I got to say that was really awesome for me was seeing Primus with.
That was fun.
I mean,
should have.
And for me,
damn it,
I've seen Primus before, but to have my siblings there that were catching Primus for the first time and just standing back and watching, and then that to me was like I get more now from concerts and watching. I enjoy it, but I like watching other people just suck it in and embrace it, and that was such a fun night for me. Such a fun night.
At that time, when I first went there, I was like, oh yeah, they're playing Rush. That's what I'm going for. Then they started playing, I know Primus. Then they started playing their other music. I'm like, holy shit. Like you said, you get drawn in. You're like, what the fuck is going on? Like, just the way he plays. God, I would see Primus over and over again. Next time they tour, no question, I'm going to be there.
I'll go next time. I'll make it happen.
They're going to do Hemispheres sometime, so you can catch that. Yeah,
what I like about Primus is how many different people you get at a Primus show.
Yeah.
So you've got bikers, and you've got emo people, and you've got people just from every background. You got like business type people. You got every background there, and they're all there to see Primus. And that's what's cool to me. You get there and you're like, look at this crowd.
Yeah, it's a bunch of metal. There's a lot of metalheads there I talked to, and they were moshing during Too Many Puppies, and I didn't know that was the thing you did at Primus. I was like, oh, no one's gonna mosh. They fucking moshed. I'm like, that's crazy, you know? Yeah, I love it. Super great
No,
band.
it was so much fun. And then you know, and it's not like I remember the first time I saw Black Label Society, it was all bikers and metalheads and leather vests and you know all that. And then I just before that been at a Primus show, and it was just such a different crowd. And then just to see who shows up and stuff.
Yeah.
Me and Penny, when we were still dating, we went down to cities and we saw Social Distortion and Flogging Molly in the same night. Nice. And what was interesting about that show was I think Social D played first. So all the people in their jean jackets and jean vests and everything for Social Distortion, all the punks were all up front. And then when Social D stopped playing, they all moved back, and all the Flogging Molly people in their kilts and everything else all moved forward. It was kind of an interesting grouping because everyone just is like, "Well, it's our turn." You know?
Yeah, right. Okay, a little swap out. Yeah,
it was really cool. It's always an interesting dynamic. I love people watching at these different shows and everything else. So that's what I got on concerts, and
that's all I got to say too.
Is that the show? Yeah, Jack.
That's the show. I think it
Jack, anything you wanted to say to our viewers out there? Listeners?
I really got nothing for you. It's just we're super excited to have another Fi on the cast with us. Thanks again for coming on. We had a lot of fun. We will of course have you back on again. But yeah, that's all I got. Yeah.
Thank you both for letting me hang out. It was fun. We covered a lot of topics, and I had a blast. This was an absolutely great night for me.
Yeah.
I had a lot of fun.
It was good, man. Thanks for having us. Thanks for having us. Thank you for coming on. Sorry.
It's his cast now.
Yeah, it's Joe's cast. Oh yeah. Next week.
I'm an actor now, so I'm taking over this.
Yeah. What do you?
Joe, anything you want to say to anybody, listeners, viewers out there?
I don't think so. Just again, I shouldn't say I don't think so. I just honored to be here. A lot of fun. I'm glad you two are doing this. I'm glad I can make it work. I'd love to, come back, hang out again, and we can touch on any of the topics or more. And like I said, we could do a whole one on religion. We could do a whole lot of stuff.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, all I have to say to all the listeners, viewers out there, thank you so much for the continued support. We are almost at 200 subscribers. Come on, 6 more people. Hit that subscribe button. We're so close, man. We're so close. I think it's like 6 more. Other than that, just keep looking out for our shorts. We're posting across every social media platform. You can get all of our platforms below in the description on our link tree. We are hoping to be pumping out some more content sometime soon, but it is going to be a while, guys. Keep an eye on Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook Live. When we do stream, we stream on all 3 platforms at once. Jack and I have been playing a little bit of Minecraft lately, Sons of the Forest. We are going to try and stream more often, but honestly, we've just been really busy. It's been kind of tough. But thank you so much, everybody, for your continued support. And that was Gutterball 41.
Let me add something else. Jack, how long to your 21?
22 days.
22 days. So we've got to figure out like a fall Vegas trip and get back going.
Say less. I'm totally down.
All right. And then there's Paul wrapping it up. Thanks, guys.
Gutterball 41.